Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Richard just his phone rang or something, and he said he'll be right back. So I'm filibustering, right? Oh, here he is.
Yeah.
How you doing?
All right. What's going on, John?
Hey,
how you doing, man?
When was the last time you were on? It's been a while, right?
Oh man, we were talking burgers, man. Remember, I that's the funny part. Is like we were talking comics, but I introduced you to Baker's, where it's a cheeseburger, fries, a taco, and a drink. Remember?
Yeah, and where is that? I remember the name.
It was like in Riverside, California. If you're like in the Riverside
I
area,
ain't out there anytime soon.
Yeah.
I'm in New York, so.
But
yeah.
I went to Whataburger. I was in Arizona for Free Comic Book Day, and I went to Whataburger, and Whataburger was, man, it was awesome, man. I liked it. It wasn't like mind blowing better than
it's
In
good.
and Out, but I don't even think it's like in that category. It's just a good burger versus good burger or whatever, man. So
my favorite, now that you started talking about burgers, my favorite is it's Shake Shack, but it's just so expensive.
They had that in Vegas, and I was gonna go there, but it just seemed too crowded at the time. And I was like, I'll just do cheap Chinese food. I
love cheap.
The crab tables are hot, man. I gotta go just do cheap Chinese food and just keep it moving.
So I know everybody wants us to get started, but we didn't plan this. What was it, like 3 weeks ago? I asked you to come on my channel.
Yeah, because I said, hey, John, my campaign's launching on Friday the 13th, and when you launch a campaign, you want to try to get on as many channels as you can in the beginning.
Right.
So you're kind of like, hey, man, I know you stream this day. Do you got this time available? Do you got this time available? And, you just kind of get where you can get to. And,
right. So I recommend anybody wants to come on my channel and you have a campaign or something like that, just a couple of things. Send me some artwork or something like that. Cause unfortunately, if it's not that good, I don't want to give an hour of my time. Second off, get to me as soon as possible. Because one guy just messaged me today, and I'm like, sorry, dude, I'm booked for a month now. For some strange reason, people have been asking to come on my channel.
After JR, huh?
Yeah. It's not me. Nobody. It's because they want to sit in the same screen with Mark Miller and JR. Because I'm a nobody. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. So
let's JR to me, like.
I'll talk to anybody about comics,
I know that, and food. You should do a food
games. Lately I've been having streams with a couple of people about religion and the Old Testament. It's kind of fun. I would just like to point this out first for tonight's very special episode. Any super chats tonight will be going towards buying Bud Lights for all ComicsGaters at the New Jersey Comic Con at the cigar party. So if you feel like super chatting, it'll go to a good cause. You can even name who you want the beer to go to. We'll make it good.
You're going to be out there tonight, or?
I'm sorry. No. This is New Jersey. It's in a couple of weeks. Right now is Heroes Con in North Carolina, South Carolina. I always forget.
Okay.
So there you go. So that's super chat goal. Everybody wants buy ComicsGaters a Bud Light. So anyway, let's start out with the obvious stuff. You have a comic coming out, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's
Town Flats?
Right. Tell me. Oh, put your link in the private chat.
Yeah. Or do you want me to share it? Or
why not? That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, do you want me to put it in the chat, or do you want me to share it myself?
Oh, good. You show it then. You show it. Yeah. So you already have a comic called Blood and the Sword, right?
Yeah.
And,
we got 2 issues of that already out, and this is our campaign for Devil from Talon Flats. Yes. So I kind of I found my little niche, John. My little niche is 20 pages, $5. It works beautifully for me as an independent guy, because man, you go like 60 pages in, that's like a car payment. That's like a down payment on a house, right? So it's like, hey, how can I keep this? If everything fails, I can still bring it out. I can still financially bring it out, and that's what.
And you print a lot, right? So you get a low print.
Yeah. And then here's the thing. I want to print supply, right? Because with that, then I have books to go to comic book conventions, in stores, or I can just set up a shop like on the street and just have comics and just sell comics. I think the more issues I do, I can just literally set up a table with shirts and just be like, hey, and make a quick 100 or a couple hundred. It's
right.
I mean, a $5 comic as you're walking out of a store is kind of an easy pitch, especially when it's fully colored.
Right.
It's an easy sale. So it's like it's almost like an impulse buy, because that's what comics were, right?
I was saying that today. I was in the chat for DG show. It's they said that they didn't like the Kickstarter model, and I said I agree, because you're waiting 6 weeks to pay. Comics is an impulse pay. That's why I like Fund My Comic. Indiegogo. I had problems with Indiegogo, but get that money. Exactly. And I got a super chat, so I get my cam girl. So appreciate the interviews. Open, honest discussion is a good thing. Thank you, Michael Dietrich, and I'm sure I butchered your last name. No offense. I'm kind of retarded. 20 pages is good for a quick release, and it keeps the fans. Yes.
Yeah.
Comic books are supposed to be quick. I mean, I understand. Like I could never say the term. Ben Genez or whatever for the French comics. Once a year a big, but it's a satisfying complete conclusion. But comic books, that's one of my big regrets is I'm gonna have 80 pages of material in 1 year, and I'm an amateur. You know what I mean? I just started. My comic came out in November, 40 pages, $10. So twice as much as you. So I guess I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then my second comic is it's tracking to come out in the end of August. That's it. So less than a year, I'll have 80 pages of new material. And I'm a nobody. I'm a newbie, and that's, I'm embarrassed that I can't do it faster.
Yeah. But it really depends on a lot of things, right? I feel like for me, it's, I have artists that like work fast and that are like also, like one of my artists, like this is what he does. This is like his job. His wife works and he works constantly. Comics. So like I have to make sure I get in line and make sure I'm on schedule for him and this and that. But
absolutely,
like so
Renzo Rodriguez is my artist, and it's funny. Somebody called him AI. It's like, dude, knock it off.
Yeah. But so it's
he's done with my comics. So I sent him my script for the next comic, because you know what I mean? He's got to work. He's got kids. He's got a family, you know what I mean? So keep working. So
right.
In that respect, fear of him taking another job is keeping me writing faster. You know what I mean? So I got like 4 or 5 scripts ready for him. But
yeah. I mean, that's where I'm like, hey, this is where I kind of launch with Devil from Talon Flats, because I can launch Fulfill This. And as this artist is working, as this out fulfills, I'm already prepping for, issue 3 of Blood and the Sword, and already promoting this. So it's, it's working like that, man. This
is a Western then, obviously.
Yes, this is going to be a 3-issue limited series, 60 pages, but it increments to 20. That's what's working for me. In like Andrew said, man, it's a quicker release for the fans and the customers, the backed, and it's just, it just works better. And people like little floppies, man. They collect little floppies. You go to like comic book conventions, there's tables of little floppies, and it's just, I think that works. And then you can always, like when you go back, like after, like say, Devil from Talon Flats, right? I knock it out. And issue 3 is already out, right? And then, a couple months later, I go to Kickstarter and launch the trade paperback, and I launch it on Indiegogo. But I'll probably still launch it on Fund My Comic. But now I have that for conventions. And what I learned about comic book stores is, they'll take the floppy, but the shelf space is what matters, right? So if you have your trade paperback, and it's like it's only this much of shelf space, versus the floppy where it needs to, sit, facing the cover out. You know what I mean? So it's a lot easier to get in stores, especially if it's just there's a way to keep reselling it and reselling it and reselling it.
Right, right. I don't know if you know Paul Thayer. He does a project analysis. That guy is a dynamo. He's always moving. He's printing up his comics. He over ships. For us small guys, I printed whatever people ordered, I forget the exact number.
Uh-huh.
I think I printed like 45% more, you know, because I was anticipating damage. Nobody complained it was damaged. And then I wanted to sell stuff. So I got a short box full of all my comics available. But this guy keeps thousands of them, and he just goes, that's his full-time job, going to conventions. He's like Stan Lee. I keep joking, but I'm kind of serious that we're all going to be working for that guy someday. When that guy's 50 years old, we're all going to be, he's going to be running comic books. And I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but
no worries.
Super chats. Akuma, the spear is for Alphamat. Be sure to spit it. Nah, I'm not going to open up his beard. That's gross. You don't do that. Brian Cristal, this one's for me. Buy a nice craft beer, none of that trash. Like, but so I like crummy basic beer. I'm a crummy basic bitch kind of a person. And Brian Cristal wrote Six Gun Gorilla, and it is awesome. Awesome comic. Really,
no, I have the print. I've had Six Gun Gorilla, at least the print, because for a minute, man. I think I met Brian when he was at either WonderCon over here, or I want to say when they had WizardCon in Anaheim.
I met him at last year at the cigar. We were actually talking at the birthday party incident. You know, I was like, what's going on? I was taken by surprise. I'm just going down the chat, see if people are asking questions. We'll get to it. You know, big convention here in Phoenix. Oh my God, you live in Phoenix?
Yeah,
I know I like the dry heat, but Phoenix is a little too hot.
Yeah, Fan Fusion was great. It was great. I loved it. I got to meet Jay Lee there.
So tell us about you before we get into what everybody's dying to hear. Let's talk about your comic a little.
Sure. So Joe from Talon Flats. Basically, it's when Rafael Cisneros was gifted cattle, he had no idea this gift would become a target of a gang of outlaws that would cost him the lives of his wife and unborn child. Rafael now vows to track down the men who slaughtered his family and get brutal revenge. So it's just classic Western revenge story. I have some pages posted underneath. Well, that's the cover. Then we also have the Preston Acevedo cover, which is also going to be a free trading card with this campaign. So when you back a $5 comic, you still get a free trading card, which would be this artwork on it. And the first 3 pages is right here. It's going to be full color though. I'm just waiting on the colorist to turn it in, and I already have the letter pages. I just need to approve it so he can send the big files. But did you want me to play the trailer? You're shilling right now. Whatever you want to do. Let's do it. Let me. I just gotta ask. Is it gonna have copyrighted music? Because that always f's me up. It's a weird thing. So okay, we'll do it. And if I have to edit it out later, I have to edit it out later. I'm gonna make the screen big, and you're gonna play your okay. We'll do it.
Forgive me, Lord. I have only tried to follow your word. When you had given me the sick, I had prayed that they be healed. I fear this man has passed and led his body to a devil. May you have mercy on me, Lord, and may you have mercy on anyone he finds in his path. For he is death, and death is coming.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, let me go.
So how many you okay, so you got a $5 campaign, 44 back already. Pretty
yeah. It goes.
I saw your comic Blood in the Sword, and I didn't know you at this point. I never saw you, but I was just like $5. $5. You know what I mean? I'm like, I went to the deli today before work and got a bagel and coffee. It was $8.50. So you know what I mean? So I backed the book. Even with shipping, it was affordable. And that's what comic books are supposed to be. Affordable.
It's hard. It's hard. Especially because I'm like a little guy, man. You don't know me, So it just seems weird asking for me. I try to use I statements in this. I guess people I don't know. It's weird when I say stuff. They're like, "Oh, that's not true." No, I'm speaking of me
Right.
from my experience, right?
Right,
My
right.
experience, I feel like I'm a little guy, so it's hard to trust someone you don't really know. And how many times have you bought a product or a comic and even anything, and you spend a lot of money, and then you're like, "Oh man, this wasn't worth the money."
Yeah,
Like I don't want that. I could be like, now I see why it's $5. Or
last year I
like,
spent $50 on a comic that was like 3 years late, and it absolutely was garbage. You know what I mean? So
that happens.
And
yeah,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
yeah. So it's it just works better, and it's a feel good price for a feel good book. And if you didn't like it, you don't feel like you got ripped off. And if you do like it, you feel like you found something of value. You came up. And
Right.
that's the kind of experience that I want to give my customers.
Now, here's where it's going to get a little uncomfortable. When your first comic came out, there was some criticism about the art. And if you notice, I never joined in on that because my theory was it was a $5 comic.
Yeah. No, actually, there was some real good criticism. So where it's like on issue 2, I got a lot sharper, like criticism in public kind of hurts, but
absolutely.
I had people that were like, "Hey man, I liked your comic, but man, I'll give you an example, man. There was a guy who was like, "Hey man, I liked your comic, but there was something, I just, I don't really want to put it out there, but I just, I want you to do good." I said, "Shoot it. What? Go." It said, it's gonna come off as harsh, right? Well, I was like, "Nah, man. Like, I respect you for even first of all getting it, and then I respect you for keeping this private. And if you want to help me, dude, tell me." And he just went in, and I was like, "Fuck." I was like, "Man, I gave this to Vito. I gave it to Tony. I gave it to all these people." I was like, "You know what? You're fucking hired, bro." Like, you caught all this stuff that they didn't. So I was like, all these people that usually catch a lot of mistakes, they didn't catch it. And I was like, "Dude, I got to get you for issue 2, man." That was great. Thank you.
My first comic, now that the emotion is away and some time, I see the flaws in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I hired an editor to go over some scripts. You know what I mean? And it's so much better. So much better.
Yeah.
You learn from your mistakes. I got a lot of positive reviews. I got a couple of negative reviews, and even the negative reviews by people who personally don't like me, I thought their reviews were pretty solid. I agreed with all the reviews except for one that was kind of weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think I'm up in my game. But whatever. My favorite review. Do you have a favorite review? My favorite review is somebody said, "John, your comic made me feel like I was a kid reading Superman for the first time."
That's cool, man. That's
cool.
Cool.
I feel like putting a quote. I feel like putting that quote on the cover.
Man. Nah. I just, man. I liked getting, as far as review. Like, here's another thing too. There's this thing that I hate. What's his name? Dang, man. He's a writer as well. And they're like, "Oh yeah, he flipped out on that." Like, I like that guy. I understood what he was saying when he was interviewing or reviewing my my thing. It's like he was like, "If I was writing this, I would do this, I would do that." And I'm like, dude, that's, to me as a writer, that's like, dang, that's awesome, because he's invested in the story to, like, you care about the story enough to change it. It's not like it's so boring you had to put it down. So I was like, all right, you're invested. I won. Yeah, thank you, Bat Sauce.
Someday
there was like, "Oh, he hated Bat Sauce, this and that," or his view sucked. That was all Tony stuff, man. That wasn't me. Like, I talked to Bat Sauce, So I mean, we did I did hair jokes, like Lego hair jokes, and we were like being we had a little slap fight, but so, and the unicorn, like, the whole thing was because that was my daughter. That was like her book, that was.
Yeah, once I found out that it was inspired by your daughter and stuff like that, I was just like, I ain't saying crap. Not that I had anything to say.
Yeah, I mean,
I like the book. Was it perfect? No, my book wasn't perfect either.
Yeah,
but it was a $5 comic book.
Yeah.
First time creator. And now you got your second comic out, and now you're making your third comic. I just want to acknowledge we got Tonic Bowl in the chat. Tonic Bowl is one of my favorite people on the planet. He does a wonderful comic called Saving the World. I got some good critics for Saving the World 1, and it really helped. I really don't mind. I don't take Tonic Mole is the definition of just the chillest guy in the world. And if anybody cares, Tonic Mole and his wife Honey will be making an appearance in Patriarch #1, which will be my next campaign. Somebody says this, the unicorn. People were busting your chops over the unicorn. Yeah. And I have to say, I didn't notice anything. There was no shadow or something like that. And I'm like, you know what? I was reading some Fantastic Four comics and I noticed some mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty chill.
Yeah. No, like a lot. I did get a little frustrated, but I was like,
of course,
I was more frustrated in myself that like, fuck. I printed all these copies that I couldn't, like, how come no one caught it before? That's where it's like you give it to all these people and like no one caught it before. That was the frustration. But other than that, man,
hey, bro, you want to hear something frustrating? I found there's 3 typos in my comic. One of them, because I didn't hire an editor, I did it by myself, and I realized that was a goof. That was a mistake. My wife picked up the comic, opened it up, and said, "This is spelled right on the first page." So I'm unofficially making a no prize for anybody who could find all 3 typos. One person found it. So I was just about to spoil the other 2 typos, but all of us have weak panels in our books.
Yeah, but
Michael Bancroft more than most. Only kidding. Michael Bancroft could do no wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, Michael Bancroft launched that book.
Yeah, he launched my book.
Yeah.
Talk about grabbing an oar. Yeah.
And then he never like demanded me to claim anything or wanted me to fucking pay homage to him or I gave him the inside cover. I was like, bro, I'll give you the inside cover. That's cool, man. I got you, bro. Thank you.
That was the lack of the shadow on the ground was the only mistake.
Yeah.
If that's your only mistake, you see, in this age of the internet, first off, I could see an artist criticizing that because that's what they do all day long. Like, when I go into a building and I notice the electrical piping on the wall, I go to my wife and I say, and she looks at me, she goes, "Those pipes weren't even there until you pointed." You know what I mean? Nobody notices that stuff for me.
Yeah.
So I understand an artist pointing out something like that. But the rest of us, you guys haven't read comics. How many times did Reed Richards have 2 left hands? It's and now the internet, everybody's, like that episode of Yahoo, the episode of South Park where everybody's a Yelper.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people who hide behind avatars talk pretty tough. You know what I mean? That's one of my beefs. Like, I don't know.
I'm like that. I worked in the restaurant business for like 3 years. So when I go to a restaurant, like the wife's like, "Hey, what's taking them so long?" I'm like, "Well, you see, he got more tables and this and that, and they're missing an expediter, and the host is keep having to do silverware and go back and forth." Like I can spot the flaws of what's going on, or like that freaking server keeps flirting with the cook instead of cooking, So it's live and learn. But here's what I think. I think most importantly, how you learn is to get the book done. You get the book done, and then you get another book done, and then you get another book done, because that's where you level up. That's where you level up. So with that said, with the Ripperverse, right, the books are getting better, but it's they're going to still make a lot of mistakes. It's still so new, and then it's just, but I think it's going to get better, and so that's where, I don't know, or it might not. Who knows? I don't know.
I found I know previously on CFTV years after it's done, missed it even after hundreds of. I don't know what CFT is. I don't know what that is, but yeah, people make mistakes. They say that the average book, published regular book, has 1 typo per page, and most people don't even touch it. Yeah, we all hope that's the goal. What you said about the Ripperverse.
Yeah. Now, and I seen people in ComicsGate, their books get better. I seen art get better. I seen even my own artist for Blood and the Sword. He's more comfortable in issue 2. People have noticed that, you got to like finish the book and level up and get that harsh criticism, and then put out another one and put out another one. Not like with the double page spread. That's still goofy. That's still goofy. That's still, that's just, but it's until you learn when you're writing or it's like, hey, 2, 3, 4, 5, you learn how to write. So when you turn the page, you can have a certain effect and you can keep surprises and stuff that way. And also too, if you did like if a certain scene is on 2 pages and it has the coloring, it's like, okay, let me drag out this dialogue and then cut it on the other side, so when you flip the page, the colors match. Or I try to do everything in increments of 2. It's just I don't know, it works that way. It works that way for me, I should say.
I'm going to come back to that comment. I'm at Saving the World 12. I'm still a long ways from where I want to be. Yeah, it takes a long time. Yeah. There was a comment here that people talking about the Rippaverse. There's a continuity, whole universe Rippaverse. It's funny because depending upon which side of the fighting I'm on, I'm a pro Ripper guy or I'm an anti Ripper guy. I famously got ISOM #1. I didn't particularly like it. But I didn't bust on him or anything like that because it was his first comic. This was a guy who just joined the comic book world. My problem was $25 plus $10 shipping. It was $35, and to me,
it was 35 when it came out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It was 25. Then it was whatever it was. I just remember $35. My memory is garbage.
Plus,
and I'm thinking that wasn't worth, for the amount of money he could have had an editor, could have cleaned it up. Too many characters. I bought 2 because I thought it would pull in, and I didn't like it. And I noped out. But here's the thing. The Ripper guys don't bust my chops. They don't call me a hater. I explained why I didn't like it. And they leave me alone. You know what I mean? Even Eric July is like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
I think the first ISOM was really dry, kind of boring. And then the second one, he tried to put in so much action that it was just confusing and just too much together. So it's like you're gonna live and learn, like balance, pacing. You're gonna live and learn. I think it's, for me, it was easier to learn on 20 pages to like, okay, let's get this right on 20 pages. But you're trying to learn on 60 pages or 40 pages. That's a lot of There could be a lot of dragging. There could be a lot of.
It should have been half the size, and it should have been focused on just ISOM. Introduced one character per issue until you get to be.
But I liked Alpha Core. I mean, I took Alpha Core.
But Alpha Core was written by a pro.
Yeah, I liked it. Like people, did it reinvent the wheel?
No.
Was it? The end seemed like a sitcom ending, but like it didn't really feel like it was horrible. It was just, okay, that's a fun book.
But
like
again,
give it a 7 out of 10.
Again, it's just the price. I buy so many freaking comics that
I can see that.
That's why $5 I bought you. Mike Barron sent me goodieing, so I liked it, but consider the source when you get an autographed copy for free in the mail by Mike. You know what I mean? But I did I like goodieing, so I do see improvement. So this guy, Pumpkin Tarot, thank you for showing up. I never saw you before. It's not going to get better for the Rippaverse. Unless you got, buy me lottery tickets if you could foresee the future. I don't know. Let's not get
it could go both ways,
Right.
Like I haven't read ISOM 3, so that's what kind of
people are telling me, and I'm getting real. My buddy Mike loves the Horseman, and this is the guy that we've been reading comics together since kindergarten.
I heard that.
So, but that's Chuck Dixon, and that's his wheelhouse, Vigilante. So I'm thinking of buying those 2 Horseman books, and maybe I'll get ISOM 3.
But you know what's funny? Like when
let me finish my thought. I do agree that for the scale and the money that Eric July is making, there shouldn't be any problems. There shouldn't be any problems. I agree with that. So if I could collect $8,000 and make a comic that is printed well and looks good and everything like that, a guy who collects $3 billion, they should be chef's kiss. I do agree. That's valid criticism.
Yeah,
and I think I barely know Eric July. I think he would agree to that. That's what he wants.
Yeah,
good creators are the hardest of their own work. Absolutely. Rippaverse is fun. ISOM 1 is the weakest comic, but it's the first one. The comments are going by so fast, guys. If I don't get to your comment, it's just that I'm trying to talk, concentrate, think.
Tell me the truth, John. You're trying to big up them.
But there was one comment that I keep going. I was saving, but I guess this is a good time to find it. Go ahead, talk while I find this comment.
No, I was saying I did like Alpha Core.
Yes.
To me, I couldn't even really finish reading, but I didn't even have any interest in the character. So it's like at that point, I think I'm just reading it because it's Rippa, but like I wouldn't even picked it up if it was on the shelf. So it's like, what's the point of finishing it just to review it or, just to hate it? I wasn't having a good time, so I'm not going to finish it.
Well, some people buy books to review good or bad. Some people, and let's face it, the world sucks. People like drama and hate it. How much attention have I gotten?
I don't, so.
I'm sorry. There was the comment that I said I wanted to get back to, and now I can't find it. I apologize. But basically, I don't want to say basically. I want to find the exact comment. So keep talking.
Yeah. Like with Gooding, like I love Mike Barron. Like his writing's dope. But I don't want to see Mike Barron write that goofy character. I had no interest in that. So I didn't look at that, But
well, my biggest criticism with ISOM, I can't believe we're talking about Ripper, is I can't stand the names.
We went into detracting. What we're supposed to be, what are we doing, John?
I know. It's like, to me, a superhero, the name of the superhero is the focus of the superhero.
Yeah.
And ISOM is a nonsense word. Okay, you want to use a nonsense word as the name of your character. Define this nonsense word right away so I can understand what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like Goodying, that's unpronounceable. Yara, what's the other one? Norfolk. These names are terrible, and I just can't get into it because these names, just like I can't get into freaking Malaysian mythology because I can't pronounce it. Celtic mythology, forget about it. I'm of Irish descent, and I can't get into my own mythology because the names are unpronounceable to me. But again, I'm not a detractor. Whatever.
We sound like them now.
I know we sound like it now, but I guess we'll be fair play because I have a feeling this is
Everybody's doing a double hill turn. What is he doing?
So WT Phil, this is the comment that I was saving. This might all be a good time. I have a legitimate question. What made you join CG despite the notable infighting with Doug T, Nurkish, Tim Lin, and Eric? Did you think Ethan would snake on you, Richard Embree?
Okay, so when I joined CG was a long time ago, bro. Like I joined CG when Cecil launched Cash Grab, and man, times were different, bro. Like they were just really different. And I'm not blaming anyone on why they're different or why they're different now. It's just it was just I remember there, like I was like, I want to do comics, and I'm going on Twitter, and everyone's telling me, CG, they're Nazis, they're this, they're that. And then I'm like, so then I'm seeing people talk about ComicsGate. I'm like, oh, dude, those are the bad guys. Those are the bad guys. And then I chill with some. They're like, let me not take their people's word, because I was on Facebook with Richard Pace, and I said, why is ComicsGate bad? Why do you hate Ethan? And he took me to a Wikipedia page. I said, but you tell me why he's bad. And he's like, oh yeah. And then he's like, well, and he just like dismissed me. And I was like, dude, that's weird, Like if you really have a reason to hate him, you should be able to just or why it's whatever, you would be able to say it. But he had no real reason. So it's like, So I started talking to people myself, and man, it was just, oh, okay, you're doing a comic. Well, do you have a printer? Do you have this? Do you have that? And it was just real helpful, And yeah, man, it was a lot better,
I'll apply the question. Why did I join? I never joined. I was in it from the beginning. I was watching Richard C. Myers or listening to Richard C. Myers. I was feeding him information. I was if you go to his early videos, and Ethan was a latecomer. He came in after it already started. John Malin was before him. Richard C. Myers was. So I just thought, and I thought it was cool. Wow, we're getting a big names over here. That's great. Cool. And I didn't think there was anything to join. I said for years, and I stopped saying it, that we don't get to call ourselves CG, ComicsGate. Mark Waid invented ComicsGate by suing Richard C. Meyer and everything. You know what I mean? He gets the only way to not be ComicsGate is if Mark Waid says you're not ComicsGate. Like I kind of jokingly said it, so we were all ComicsGate by default. But at that point, it was a bunch of fans reacting to Marvel. Once it became a personal brand of a personal person, I started to get my hackles up, and I kept quiet. And now it's you could tell. So at this point, you want to tell us what happened? You were part of ComicsGate, and now you're not. This is your story. Do you want to tell it?
Yeah. So with me, it was man, it was all right, you know. Like I saw that comment about the money. It's like it's not about the money. If it was about the money, I would be trying to sell something. I wouldn't be selling a $5 comic, you know, like and investing my own money to make sure it goes out. It's about comics, it's about growing, it's about getting it out there. Like for me, I'm a storyteller, so I want to get it out there. So but what I don't know, man, it just changed, man. This is what happened too, man. I'm seeing like I know who my customers are, and I'm seeing them back me. And but I'm like, man, they're on different streams, and if I were to go to that stream, it would be just a lot of shit. And if I go to this stream, it's a lot of shit, and that's fucking that's just not what I want to do, you know. And then it's just, man, the Jimmy Reyes thing did affect me, you know, because here's the thing: when you're a creator in ComicsGate, okay, and you're trying to sell your book, people hold you to the hypocrisy that ComicsGate has, meaning stuff that mainly Ethan does, right? And it's like, man, it's late books. So you're cool with late books. You're cool with this. And you're like, you get kind of tired of it. It's like, man, that's Ethan shit. What? But Ethan. And it's like, I was like, dang, if I didn't have this ComicsGate label, I wouldn't have to always answer for Ethan, because I can't answer for Ethan. That's his, whatever you think, you know. So it's just like.
Bedtime Turner just showed up, and I just got real sleepy. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me wake up. Let me take a sip of coffee.
So I was just like, man, I just want to go.
Living narcoleptic just showed up.
I just want to go to just go anywhere I want to go without having to, like, the hypocrisy and then the Jimmy thing. And it's like that thing is like, dang, like people are trying to like, oh, they're just making fun of Jimmy and this and that. Is nah, dude. Like that dude in his darkest hour went to Christ, and that dude in his darkest hour is trying to bring people to Christ. And I don't think that's something to mock at. You know, I'm not cool with that. And now it's like, I'm going to go sell books and then be like, oh, so you're cool with that? You're cool with that? It's like, I'm not cool with that. And then it's like, you know what? Like, money isn't everything, man. Like, money isn't everything.
I just want to say this.
Yeah.
John's Dong Box. Isn't that clever? Isn't that a clever insult? Call me John's Dong Box, because Shane Davis called me John's Dong Box, and then Bedtime Turner called me John's Dong Box. But that's clever because they're writers. I got to explain this, how clever it is. They took the L from Long Box and they turned it into a D, and it became Dong Box. That's clever writing. That's clever writing. Yeah, I'm really impressed with that. That is so good. Yeah. Good job, Sleepy. Good job.
Yeah, so I just, you know, I'm just tired of always the but Ethan. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, I just trying to sell my book, you know? And then it's funny.
Hold on. Shane Davis says he didn't call me Dong Box. Do I have to cut and paste, Shane, when you called me Dong Box? Do I have to later on tonight, I'll put it on Twitter because, you know, but, and this is, I just want to point this out. Do you see this right here? This is Starlight Cat pins that I've had displayed over here since I got them. I never said a bad word about Shane Davis. Never said a bad word about Shane. He had me on his channel, Mandy. I came on his channel with him and Mandy and Dale Keon. And then the other night, I see all three of them talking crap about me. Mandy, I never said a bad word about you. In fact, I caught hell by other people going, what are you talking to Mandy for? And she did this, she did that. And I said, you know what? I don't know it. The internet is crazy. I don't know what's true or not. All I could do is what I experienced in my own personal experience, because the internet is insane. There's already rumors about me and Shane saying that I'm broke, that I cashed in my 401k. Hey, Shane, I still have $1 million in my 401k. I have a $2 million comic book collection. I have a $4,000 a month pension coming up to me. I'm doing fine. Okay. My story about the 401k was while my neck was broken and my comic book still came out, and I took out a loan a couple of years ago to buy a car, and I had $6,000 left. And because I didn't work for 6 months, that $6,000 defaulted, so I had to pay taxes on it in April. I still didn't touch my comics money, and I put out my freaking comic. Okay, you got pros who brag about being in 30 years. They can't produce one freaking comic book in 5 years, and I, have the integrity not to touch the money while going through a hardship. And you're calling me dongbox and then saying you didn't say it. I saw you say it, you freaking liar. Okay, so there you go. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, that's you and Shane. And so I just didn't want to be around that. It's like that's kind of hard to defend. And I'm not gonna tell them you should talk like this or you do that. When people do that, people do whatever they want. I just wanted to distance myself, and I left the CG green room, and it was like that was like 2 reasons, right? Because that kind of kicked it off, right? But like Jimmy invited me there, and now I'm in there, and that's like Ethan's room. Ethan didn't invite me there, so it's like I'm kind of like man, maybe I shouldn't be here, like it was, so I'm just like, all right.
Pardon me. He said F box. That was clever. Why? Because I said I had 2 beefs that started with comic books. The first time I said, I don't want to hear about detracting anymore. Everybody's talking about how bad this guy's comic book is. Can somebody start talking about how good their comic is? And I caught shit for that. I said, okay, that's what I get for sticking my head up and saying stuff. Then I say, CG is causing problems with the fans. People are associating CG with late books, poor quality, and now after Rob Hunter defaulted campaigns. I said, we as crowdfunders should be policing crowdfunding 10 times harder than everybody else. That's it. Artie Taber said the same freaking thing 2 days later. And now I'm John F. Box, according to a guy who I never had a problem with. Tell me this isn't a freaking cult.
Yeah, so I just, I wanted to back off of it.
Yeah, Jimmy Reyes, I backed that book. Yes, he should apologize to his backers. He promised them fully colored books, and all of his backers haven't seen their black and white copies. I don't know if he spent the time drama farming. I literally don't watch too much YouTube. I got too much stuff to do. So yes, he had a problem. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm not there. As horrible as it sounds, when I back a book, I kind of just figure that money is gone, and then I don't back a book that you can't afford.
And my stance with Jimmy too is like, dude, like Jimmy really hurt crowdfunding. And man, dude, like that whole Jimmy situation was, I'm gonna be completely honest, that was a lot on him just fucking it up.
Ignore it.
Hold on, John, let me talk. Hold on. Because Ethan was gonna give him a cover. Ethan was helping him, like to give him a cover. Like, so like I don't even think that Ethan's the bad guy in that situation. Ethan was doing that for him. He was doing that for ComicsGate. He was doing that for indie comics. Like, so as much as I criticize Ethan and talk shit, like in that moment, he did that without hesitation. So I was like, damn, like I that was cool. But then to see like months later, the mocking the Christianity, I just, that it is what it is. I'm just not really cool with that. I'm just gonna walk away from that. And I did everything quietly, but you have people that want clout, that want drama farm, that want content, and that's what's causing this whole mess. Right. I'm not even mad. I'm just, going about, gonna make a $5 comic, and that's it.
Thoughts on Grove Men and CG playing internet clicky politics? Didn't people get over? Yeah, it's the mainstream all over again. It's the mainstream all over again. So you forgive me for putting words in your mouth, but is this what happened? So you left a message in a DM group that says, I'm going to leave. So I have a problem with certain things.
This is what happened. Okay, so now let's
get into specifics because this is your story.
Let's get into the Mint situation, right?
Okay.
So people are asking me, like, how come you asked Mint? How come you asked Mint? I never asked Mint to do a card. She asked me. She said, me and Vito crashed out or whatever. I don't want to do his, or he doesn't want me to do his card. I don't know. They had some disagreement. She's like, can I do your card? And like Mint has always been cool. So I was like, yeah. And people were like, oh, how come you would let a porn person do your card? And like anytime someone wants to do something positive that's in something kind of negative and they're moving towards something positive, I want to try to support that. So I did that, you know. I did that. I should have really consolidated with the wife, because I didn't know how she would feel about that. But the wife, she what bothered her the most is that this, when Mint is tagged into the campaign that's like, you know, related to my daughter kind of thing, and you know, she's, you know, her Twitter is showing a lot, you know, she's like, I just want the separation from that, you know. And so with that, I was like, this is a weird space for me, because like, how am I going to tell Mint where she can go, who she can talk to, or how am I going to tell a channel who they can have on? So it was this weird navigation where it's just like, okay, you know, I'm just all right. I'll you know, I'll create my distance, and which I did on my own. But I didn't know, you know, with the on the Katie's channel, like Mint didn't do nothing wrong. She came on to support. I didn't think she would actually come on, you know. So, and that was my fault for not telling her in advance. So there was the issue with the wife, and I listen. I have a lot of love for CG. They was very supportive. And me doing this whole internet thing was the fastest thing I could do to try to protect. You know, these people are out clipping and stuff like that, and I was like, man, this is going to be bad.
I would just like to say about clipping. Feel free to clip my stream, even, you know, because people who clip for a living, they have no talent, and this is how they do things. So if you're going to clip tonight and make a little video, or worse, the gayest thing in the world, EFAP, because, you know, you don't have anything to offer from yourself, so you got to show other people doing something interesting. Do me a favor, take the money that you make from your income, and if anybody in your family just is like wandering around the trailer park naked, buy them clothes. Buy them clothes with the money that you make from tonight's video. That would be really good. So there you go.
Yeah. So with that, it's, you know, I then the next morning, privately, I hit up Katie. Privately, I hit up Mint, and said, and the first thing I did was apologize to both of them. You know, hey, this is what it was. I apologize. You know, I could have handled this better, but this is what I did, you know. And then I left a lot of you know, just chat rooms, because I'm like, dude, a lot of this stuff is just man, it's just toxic, man. It's just everyone talking shit and this and that, and I just, man, I'm out of here, you know. Like, I want to do something different, man. Like, I met on Free Comic Book Day, I met Kevin Eastman, right? And I was like, dude, that dude's the dude, bro. Like, and I'm sitting there, and he's just so humble, kind, peaceful. And I was like, dude, that's what I want. I want what he has, you know. And what I'm doing now is not getting that. I need to change my ways. And so it's like, you know, I'm gonna leave these streams. Now, when I say leave these, or not streams, but chat rooms. And when I say chat rooms, like CG, that green room is not a toxic one. That was one of the best and most positive. That one was, you know, the main one, the green room, the Ethan's room. That one is a real positive room. So I don't want to get any misconceptions with that either. There's a lot of great people in there. And then when you're talking about CG being toxic, CG being this, it's like, bro, that room is just full of just positivity. So there is a lot of negative out there.
Why'd you leave? If it's all positive, why'd you leave?
Like I said, I wanted to distance myself from EVS and Malin and Shane, you know. Why? And it's just because of those comments, the Jimmy Reyes comments. I'm cool off that, man.
And everybody just said, "Oh, I'm sorry to see you go. Everything's fine." And
no
problem.
So I left. Here's the thing: I left, and people asked me about it. Like, why'd you leave? And I told them, I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with the mocking Christ. And a lot of these people were just like, okay, that's understandable, you know. And I'm just like, if you're cool with it, you're cool. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. But I'm just not cool with it, man. I'm good on that, you know. And I'm not gonna go like, hey, Ethan, Shane, and Malin, you need to correct your behavior. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna leave, bro. Like, it's America, you know.
So, nobody said anything. It was just a happy goodbye.
I was just, and then that's when Katie hit me up, and that's when I she's like, "Why did you leave?" And I was like, and I told her, I was like, "Listen, I just want to distance myself from these guys. I want to distance myself. I want to, I'm just, it's just, I'm done. I'm tired of having to answer for stuff they did, with their whatever they're doing." And
what did they do? Why do you need to distance yourself from these people? You just said everything was so positive and wonderful, but you got to distance them.
Well, like in that CG green room, they don't really interact in there like that. You're in there with like other creators that are. It's just positive, Like you don't really, Ethan will throw a link in there, but I mean that's cool. But you're not.
I'm in a bunch of DM groups that aren't active. I don't just leave them because I want to do my own thing. I know there's a reason why you left, and you don't want to say it.
No, like I said, that was Ethan's room. He didn't invite me to that room. Jimmy did. So it's like I'm just. I don't want to be here. He didn't invite me here. I feel like I'm just, I'm like squatting, So I'm just like, hey, you know what? Let me get out of here,
Okay.
And I just, when I told Katie that, and I'm just like, I'm tired of, I don't want to be tied to it no more. But I also told her that like people like Nolan, Lawless, Mike Barron, RT Bear, Andy Smith. I was like, I fucking love those guys. Like, so it's like that. I always said, listen, she's like, are you going to anti-CG? Which is like, now I think about it, it's like, that's fucking ridiculous. It's just weird. Like anti or new or whatever. I don't know. It's just weird, dude. I just want to make comics. But I was like, I love those guys. I want to be around those guys. Those guys are cool. They're very helpful. They're very knowledgeable, and they're very encouraging. So it's like, those are the guys that I want to be around, right? So that's where I was like, listen, I'm just going to distance myself. I was like, if you don't want me to launch on your channel, let me know. And she was basically like, nah, you're still CG, that's fine. Are you going to distance yourself from them or CG? I'm like, just them, and that's fine. Like like that's just what I wanted to do. And yeah. And then she's like, yeah, I'll still launch you. And the hypocritical part about it is too, she like agreed to it. She's like, yeah, that didn't sit right with me either. I was like, okay, well, you're not saying it publicly, but I guess, it didn't sit right with you, whatever. So I don't know, man. So after I send those like messages to Katie and Mint, like Katie never hits me back. She drops it in another chat room. And then now and this is a chat room already left. So now I'm getting all these screenshots of how these people really think of me, And Ethan's playing dumb, but he's in that chat room too. So, this, I don't even know, dude. I was in that chat room with you, bro. Like, so it's just theatrics, bro. It's just, I'm cool off it. I just want to make books. That's all I want to do, and but anything, I got a Yana Fui video off of it. Me and my wife were laughing at that for I was like, she was laughing at that. She's like, who's this guy? And so yeah, man, that's where I'm at, man. So I just want to sell comics, man. You want a $5 comic, you want to talk to me, and you want me to have you on a stream, I'll do it. You want me to help promote or come on my channel and talk comics, I'll do it. I don't want to get into this fucking tribalism shit no more. I'm done with it.
A couple of months ago,
I invited Pan on too.
I'm sorry?
Ask Brady, because he said, Pan, go on. I wanted Pan to go on. I was talking to Brady, but I wanted Road to go on. I wanted to just talk to whoever, And so,
I've seen, I'm not one of these people to share DMs or anything like that, but me and you have been DMing back and forth for a while.
Yeah.
And is it a lie that I've been saying to you, come on, Richard, stop fighting with people?
Nah.
Here's
the thing too. You would always be like, yeah, Matt's volatile, but he's a good dude, Right. And here's the thing, like in these past week, I can understand how someone can just say the things that Matt Barr says, you know, and I'm not condoning it, but you know, I've also said some shit to Matt too, you know. So,
Right.
but with that,
you've been a shit stirrer too. I for the most part, I have my weaknesses and I start shit and I instantly regret them all the time. And Matt knows that I've said, "Come on, Matt, please stop fighting with these people." You know.
Yeah. And you've told that to me too. You said I've talked to Matt. I'm trying to tell him to just leave it alone. But this past week, there's been people that we're just going at each other for what? Because of a fucking label, a fucking trademark that I don't own, have any equity in. What the fuck am I doing, man? That's where it really comes out, right? And so all these people, I'm just like, bro, I just want to make comics, man. If I said something to you, I apologize for my part. You don't have to accept it, but you know, this is what I want to do. And if people like it, hate it, I don't give a shit, bro. I'm just gonna make comics.
Yeah,
I just want to promote comics.
I know, because
I'm Bancroft's DM, not DM, but a chat room brother now. Like, because he got fucking lashed at for leaving a chat room. So now I'm paying the sins of Bancroft. Chat room brothers. But on an all serious note, I'm like, I know people want to spin stuff. Me and my wife, we're laughing at this. We're like, dude, I was like, look at, I told you, you're gonna get me in trouble on the internet. She's like, oh my God, you know. I woke up today, I was like, dude, the dude that did an amazing fucking run on Green Lantern is fucking screaming, calling me a nobody. I'm like, bro, what if you told me
why is he calling you a nobody?
I don't know.
We all know why.
It's theatrics. It's theatrics.
You
know what? I'll tell you this, man. I think, man, when it comes to Ethan, I've seen him do a lot of kind stuff as well. You know, I think, man, he has to be overwhelmed, man. He has to be overwhelmed. He has a wife that has medical needs. He has a special.
I don't want to talk about anybody's wives.
No. I'm saying the reality of it, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure, bro. Because I got a job, right? So with my job, I have medical insurance. Like that dude's out on his own, you know, with having to cover those medical bills. So, like, I don't know, man. I just.
So if you were out on your own and have to cover medical bills, would you respond to a customer like this?
Why? I got tired of doing them.
I got tired of doing it.
Go ahead, read
it. I don't care whether a person wants to use the campaigns to fund the way they do. My criticism of you, I don't care about late campaigns unless there's an egregious reason. There's no excuse you can't still be the unfulfilled sketches from. I can't even read. Everything else is just some cope. I got tired of doing them. I kept putting more and more time and energy into them than warranted. Some dickhead decided to ridicule one of them. So criticism. I decided I needed to take a break and read. So ultimately, it comes down to he doesn't want to fulfill his campaign. Now, if you got a sick wife and you don't have medical insurance, shouldn't you do the best business practices that you can?
I think that's where Trashcast bit him in the ass.
Right.
Because now you have you're doing this real picky on nitpicking everything, right? So now that's a $300 customer, right? That might had probably waited a long time, and is probably a Ripperverse fan if they're still your fan, and so they're getting these things, and it's, you know,
right.
That's where I think it's a lot of stress, man. I think it like I try to see the best in people. I know I saw something like his kindness is just a play because it's manipulation, but I try to see the best in people, right? So I really think that's just lashing out. I work in like mental health. I've seen people lash out. They're real kind, but under pressure, they act into a certain way with a certain demeanor. So I don't know. But here's the thing: I'm not trying to play fucking psychologist, bro. I'm just trying to sell a $5 comic. It's about a Western and an alligator. You know, maybe I do a Western alligator. I don't know.
I'll get back to in a minute, but my first dust up with Ethan was right after the cigar party last year. He invited me on his stream live on his cigar party where he was taking super chats to eat leftover stale cake, and then he said, "John Longbox, why don't you come on my channel?" So I came over afterwards, and then he acted like a dick. That's So a couple of days later, I said, nobody wants to hear Trashcast anymore. Can't we talk about comic books? And that was it. Next thing you know, he's reading my DMs in public. I backed off. I said, okay, this guy's whatever. It's didn't you know I was a snake kind of thing. So I backed off and I left the book. I didn't say anything. And I wasn't even talking to him. Friday after the Rob Hunter thing, I said, don't we feel that CG is causing a problem? Right now, I believe 100%. And everybody has called me every name from fuck dong box to long box to whatever the hell you want to call them. But nobody said I was wrong. And I said that CG is causing a bad aura. It has a negativity now. The average person says, I don't want to buy a CG book because when you get them, it's years late. And I never said Shane Davis. I still think Shane Davis is doing a good job. But
Shane Davis is awesome. I think, but you're talking CG, right? The model is CG. Shane Davis is doing it, regardless of what he said about that day. Like, because here's the thing: even though he said that with the whole Jimmy thing, it's like, that people are making mistakes, bro. I don't think Shane's a fucking devil worshiper or something.
4-hour streams every day for a year talking about Ripper.
But okay, no. When I say the model, as far as getting the books done, getting them out, getting quality, and I think also like Pit My Comic is one of the best promo streams. Even though Shane forgot who I was, I still, like that.
People message me in the chats and they're like, "Dude, I was on your channel." I'm like, "I'm sorry." You can't pull on that. But what I'm saying is, after Rob Hunter defaulted, after Jimmy Reyes, and I liked Jimmy Reyes. I liked Rob Hunter. He was on my channel. He was like,
I like horrible business decisions. Horrible business.
I like this art. I'm not an artist. People saying it's all 3D, whatever. Yeah. I bought it. It looked good to me. I'm not an artist. But he thought he was going to live on the money. And other people were rightfully upset. And I said, this is the kind of stuff that we as crowdfunders, I'm a hobbyist. My bills are paid by doing construction work.
Yeah,
so this is just a hobby for me. It's a fun little diversion that I like to do. And no, I'm not broke, Shane Davis, repeating a rumor that Ethan made up. I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true. And then talks about it for 20 minutes. And now you guys are repeating it like idiots. But anyway, I said this, if you guys like Art Bear, for Graham Nolan, for Mike Barrett, for these guys who need to crowdfund to pay their bills, they should be coming down on all of these people. Your late campaigns are making me look bad. Your defaulted campaigns are making me look bad. You not doing your drawing things because you don't feel like it because some amateur on the internet criticized you and your Fifi got hurt. That makes me look bad. I still have my pension. I still have a $2 million collection, whether or not crowdfunding goes away. But these guys depend on it for a living. So I said, we need to be 100 times harsher on bad campaigns. And next thing you know, CG is making fun of me, calling me all sorts of names, but they never said I was wrong. They never said I was wrong. You're spending $35 on a comic book, and this is your page. This is your page, John Malin. That's your page. And I spent $35 on that comic book.
Wait, it's just a blank page of black.
Yeah, I know. That's from Godlike. Okay. and then he tells, "Oh, I'm a great artist. Look at this horse. You want? That's not how you draw a horse. This is how you draw a horse. Okay, that's how you draw a horse."
Mandy's always been kind to me.
Well, she's making fun of me too when I've been defending her. You know how many people defended her against, and then she comes out, starts talking crap, and then she says to me, I'm not going to refund your book because you talk bad about me. And then all of these CG pussies, guys like this retard over here, are releasing DMs from everybody because they're the coolest guys in the world. But when I talk bad about Katie did and Mandy, nobody has a DM. Nobody has any proof. I'm broke. Nobody has any proof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's
not a cult. Oh, by the way, I just want to say this. Props for Bosch Foswind for leaving Islam. Islam is a dangerous ideology that if you leave, you become apostate and they make fun of you, and you have a charismatic leader that you don't have expression, out to everything.
Oh, familiar.
Thank God that you left that collectivist mindset, and you're now a free person to express yourself the way you want. Good job. And he does Pigman. Go ahead. Go buy Pigman, everybody.
Oh, yeah. I can relate. That's a relatable story.
Yeah.
Relatable story.
Good job.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just like I said, I see customers in different chats and I'm like, man, if I wanted to go on the slums or if I wanted to go on Low Raptor Jesus, I have customers in there And it's like, man, if I want to go over there, I'm gonna cash shit, and and here's the thing, I'm gonna have to answer for all these CG things and this and that. And it's like, bro, that's none of my shit, you know. Like, if people want to talk about like Ripper and what I did with that, yeah, of course, you know. But like everything with Ripper, I already said it's done. Like that the fucking horse is dead already. I'm beating it. Like, who gives a shit? Like, I'm moving on, bro. I'm moving on.
I know.
I got stories.
People send me DMs, so I watch. I see Shane, Mandy, and Dale Keown. Dale Keown, a living legend, guy who drew one of the best Hulk runs in the world, talking about me. You know, Dale. Here's Dale Keown now. Dale, I got something to say to you, Dale. Get the F away from these people. They don't care about you. You know what, Dale? Go talk to Narwhal. Narwhal will get you hooked up with Mark Miller. You'll be a millionaire in 6 months. These guys are holding you back. Okay. You're sitting there, you're working for Three Finger Mandy. By the way, she's this is her doing some charity work. She was
dang it, John. You know,
she was teaching lip reading to the deaf colorist over here. So, you know, get away from these people. These people don't want to help you, Dale. Okay? They're abusing you. Like,
well, you know what?
They're isolating
you. You said that Mark Miller was on with Graham Nolan.
Right, he was on with me.
Yeah.
Talk to me, awesome. Dale. Don't talk to Mandy. Don't talk to Shane. They are keeping you from becoming a millionaire. Call Todd McFarlane tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was like, damn, that's cool. Because like I said, like that peaceful, confident, joyous, like presence is in Graham Nolan. That's
Graham Nolan the best. Graham Nolan is the best.
Yeah, and that's what I inspired to be. That's what I'm here for. Like I said, money comes and goes. I can go get money real easy. It's real easy to get money. But like to tell a good story and this and that, that's what I find fulfilling. You know, and that's, you know, like that's why I'm doing these comics. And I don't, you know, people can say this or this and that. I don't give a shit, man.
Yeah. I just have to laugh. There's just so much crap going on. And then Ethan Van Sciver says, "Oh, John's comic, it's cuck. The patriarch is a cuck. The patriarch is a cuck." Wrong slide. The patriarch is a cuck. Look at this. Here he is with his family, his wife, his family, and everything like that. Okay, so and then they're like, "Oh, it's a self-insert. It's a self." First off, I wish it was a self-insert. You know, I wish here he is with his wife. That's what cucks do. They sleep with their wives. So let's explore this theory. The patriarch is my self-insert. So he loves his wife. He loves his family. He wants to protect his family. You know what is a self-insert? I come to realize that Cyberfrog is a self-insert. Cyberfrog is a story about a guy that was interesting 25 years ago, and then he went to sleep, and then he wakes up, and the woman he loves is getting fucked by somebody else. So that's what a cuck looks like. That's what a cuck looks like. Hey, Mr. Peanut. That's what a cuck looks like. You know, so you want to call me a cuck? That is weaker than this guy's pullout game. Okay? There you go.
Hey.
How's that? How's that? You want to play Trash Cast? Let's play Trash Cast.
John did tell me, he's like, "Are you ready? Because I'm going to be mean. Not to you. I'm going to be mean." I'm like, "John, you do what you want. You express yourself, sir, however you want, you know." Grab an
oar. I've been talking to people for 3 nights a week for 4 years, giving them platforms.
Grab an oar is I would say this. Grab an oar is
I built a fucking boat, okay? And then, you know, people were nice to me. I went out to Katie did. I got four fucking sales. Mm-hmm. Great. I went on to Shane Davis. But you know what? I'm a first-time creator. And they're laughing at a guy who did $8,000 for their first time when they talk about 30-year creators. Yeah.
So the my problem with the grab an oar is it cancels out when you say you're not entitled to my channel. So it's this weird dynamic. So that's another thing. Like I know Riley's showing these things where I said I was using I statements. I said I feel like I'm waiting for scraps because let's be honest, unless Ethan, Malin, or Shane really kind of push you, like you're not getting that real promotion. You know, like you can go around and this and that, but like you're not getting that real promotion. So it's just like, okay, if I'm here and I'm not getting that, that's a fucking business move. Like, didn't we just lecture Bancroft on that? Like, oh, you left the chat room to be with friends when you could have had a business move. I was like, okay, well, this is a business move. You're not giving me the promotion. I'm gonna go create my own audience. Like like, you know. And here's the thing: I try to leave quietly, but what ends up happening again, DM rooms, right? Tony comes to me and he's like, "Hey, are you still CG?" And I said, "What does that even mean?" You know what I mean? Like, what? Why does it even matter? I just, you know, because everything you can do in CG, you can do outside of CG. If you need to build a network,
what is the benefit of being CG? Because you go on Shane and Mandy's and Eddie, Rotting Eddie the Corpse. You go on their channel. They think they own
you for the record, but
you know what I mean? They think they owe. Thank you, Katie. I'd go on Hitler's channel if I could promote my freaking comic book because it's a business. Stan Lee would go anywhere to promote your business.
Yeah,
we're friends now. I owe you something. You know, I've had probably more people come on my channel than ever. I don't own them. I wish them all the best. I bought all of their books except for Sleepy Time Turner's because he's got the anti-charm equation. So I don't own anybody. I like talking about comic books. Either it's about comic books or it's not, you know? So,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, so that was my thing. It's just,
I don't care if you don't know comics. Master Swag, you know, I know you're a bombastic guy and I love you to death, but I don't care if you don't know comics. I don't think I'm sorry. I don't think EJ, I keep saying EJ, Eric July knew comics that well when he got into it, but that's fine. Everybody's a newbie. So
yeah.
Katie I don't think she knows comics, but I don't hold that against her.
You can still have enthusiasm and
right.
Still, you know.
Everybody's there's a guy Luniverse who comes on my channel all the time. He just got into comics. He's a sweetheart. He's teaching himself to draw. So I got to make fun of him because he's a newbie.
Yeah.
You know, so, what I got a problem is you know, arrogance behind it all, you know.
Yeah, so anyway, I tell Tony that like I'm not CG, and he's like, he starts flipping out like, "Oh, you're not CG? Well, I'm gonna talk about it tonight. Of course you will. Now you need content. Whatever.
Right.
Whatever. I don't." And so he goes to Katie's green room and starts freaking out about it. Now people, and that's when the infamous that. I never told anyone I wasn't CG. I'm just keeping it quiet. They always say, "Hey, why don't you just leave and not make a spectacle?" I'm not making this spectacle.
You left quietly. They made
I'm just like, and I said, listen, and it was truthful. I said, if people are buying my comic just because I'm CG, then they're not really buying me. I don't have my own audience. I'm just getting charity from Ethan, and that's not a good business strategy.
As much as I have a problem with Richard Meyer, which I didn't until all of a sudden I did. That kind of pissed me off. That set off the heel turn for me. That turned me into dark long box. But he was right. When people super chat you and everything like that, I'm not a cam girl. You know, I've actively been saying people don't. You know, I'm trying to make up things. If people super chat me, I want to mail them something like that because you owe them. And then you chasing the algorithms and you become like a trained seal. Oh, Eric July band. Oh, I got a super chat. So you keep repeating it. You know, it's ridiculous. Make your book. You made $400,000 on one comic. Awesome. Put out that damn comic. Make another one. Strike while that iron is hot. You know.
Yeah.
Darth Long. I'm a Sith. So who's you know. So what is? Let me ask. I got 200 people watching right now. Am I wrong? Should we, as crowdfunders, be the harshest critics on other campaigns?
Man,
no, everybody's calling me shitbox. Everybody's calling me whatever, but nobody's calling me wrong. You know?
Yeah, I mean it's the customers, man. You're making it happen. You know, so like customers are king. So but I say this too. Each individual customer has their own tolerance of what they're willing to wait. And so it's just, if this person feels that way, it's up to that creator to handle that customer in an individualized, respectful manner. Now, if a customer is willing to wait, then, hey, I guess you're lucked out. But that's just, I don't know, man. Maybe it's bad planning. Maybe, I don't know. You know, like I only try to like work in the world of me. So it's like,
that's all
you goes wrong for me. I know what to do. Or I have back plans, contingencies, and behind the scenes, it's been a lot of stuff happened.
We talk in generalities because we're human beings. You know, and back in the early days of CG, we all trashed Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
But we all understood that there were some good guys in Marvel. We all understood there were some good guys in DC, that there was some good comics. But we were all adults, and we understood that the actions of the most egregious people is painting all of Marvel comics and all of DC comics in a bad light. We all accepted that. We were all happy with it. We were all laughing as your boy Zach was ripping up these comic books and making fun of whatever, the Mags Visaggio and stuff like that. But now, when somebody says, you know, there's some bad actors in either through accident, through misfortune, or purposeful, but there's an aura, there's a dark aura, there's a shadow arising from Mordor over ComicsGate, and rather than addressing it, they're attacking the prophets. They're attacking the people that coming out and saying there's a problem. Now, I don't know about you. If all of a sudden crowdfunding fell into the toilet tomorrow, I made a comic book that I'm proud of. It's not the best, but I'm proud of it, and I'll go back to my construction job. And I'll be fine, and I'll collect my comic books. I'll have my insurance. I have my pension. You know what I mean? Life goes on. Yeah. It's these pros that are shit scared to stand up and say anything. As far as I know, Artie T-Bear was the only one to say anything. You know, but these guys depend on this shit. They're all Marvel pros. They don't have pensions. They don't have health care plans.
God, that's why I said that's a lot of that could be a lot of the stress and lashing out, you know. Right. But like I said,
guys need. I'm not saying come on my channel and badmouth these people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they should be like, you know, dude, your actions are reflecting upon me, because ComicsGate, as you pointed out, is a collective. You leave it, you get made fun of. You go on somebody's channel and you slightly disagree. Oh my God, you're the bad guy now. Oh my God, you know, all of these independent. All of these independent Republican conservatives turned out to be pretty damn collectivist in the long run.
Well, here's the thing too. We don't know if there are those discussions behind the scenes where, right. Like, so, you know, they might have those, and they're not, you know, like, we're talking about older men. So they might have a lot of stuff behind closed doors that they're just handling like men do, you know, and yeah. So like, hopefully that is going on to a certain extent, and you know, but it sucks because there's a lot of great creators that are
right. That guy don't address what he says. CG, it's all about customer service and accept all criticism. I remember somebody once said about Eric July, accept all criticism. My criticism was the most mild criticism ever.
Yeah.
I stop talking about other people promote. Does anybody in the chat know that Ethan has a campaign on Fund My Comic launching tomorrow? Does anybody know about it? Is anybody talking about it? He's launching these Master Racer cars, and what are they talking about? John Dong Box, because nobody's excited. Nobody cares, because everybody knows it's not going to deliver, because he was kicked off a Kickstarter, or he back, and now he can't go on Indiegogo, so he's on Fund My Comic because of bad behavior. And yet I'm the bad guy for pointing this out. I'm pointing out the obvious thing. The Emperor has no fucking clothes on. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I want these pros to continue to make comics.
Right. Why do I want bad comics? I want comics to be awesome. I want Cyberpunk to be awesome.
I want it, but on the flip side, it's like for myself, if crowdfunding were to go down, I would probably still make comics, because I was doing that before and going to the convention and selling them. Yeah, I would be doing a lot slower.
Right.
But they're still getting done.
Right. It would cost more out of pocket. It would be more of a gamble. There's a benefit to crowdfunding. That's why we need to protect it. That's why we need to be the defenders of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And especially if you're dependent on it. I'm not dependent on it, guys. Okay? I'm not. I'm gonna do fine. I'm gonna do absolutely fine if this all goes away. I just think, guys, you guys never stop thinking about Ethan. You can't stop thinking about Ethan. Well, he's ComicsGate. He owns the trademark. What do you want me to do? He's pulling everybody down. Everybody will be labeled. I'm not War Campaign. I don't know who War Campaign is. I've never been a joiner.
With War Campaign, I've been having like cool conversations with them. Like Brady is a cool dude to talk to about comics. Like it's been, you know, like with War Campaign. If you talk comics, leave ComicsGate Ethan out of it. They're fucking awesome people to talk to. Now, if you try to defend ComicsGate to them, it's a whole thing. But and that's another thing. I like talking comics with fucking people. Like, I don't want, oh, you're talking with the enemy. Whose enemy? Not mine. You know, I didn't shoot. You know, so I want to talk with whoever. You want to talk about comics? We talk about comics. You want to sell comics? Let's sell comics. You want to do this and buy comics? I got a $5 comic. You got $5? Let's do it. Like, that's the mentality that I miss. That's the CG that I signed up for, and that's the spirit that I'm gonna be moving on. And that's, I don't know. And if people don't like it, I don't know what to tell you, man. I hope you find someone or find a creator or whatever that you enjoy and make your time worth it. That's it.
I don't know what else to say. I await all of the clips. I await all the nastiness, but nobody's telling me I'm wrong. Nobody's telling me I'm wrong. Yeah. Those cars take 10 cents to make. That's fine. You know, buyer beware. Right? And if it takes 5 years to make a quality comic book, put that in the campaign page. Let people know. Let people know. You know, I'm sorry, guys. The quote, the chat is going so fast. You know.
Yeah. So, we're gonna talk about food again, or what? What's going on?
You want to talk about food?
Yeah. Whataburger was, man, there was too much hype on that. I was like, man, this is all right, but it wasn't crazy, you know.
Then let us be once I could carry, but I can't carry a long box. That's actually pretty cute. That's like this guy. He lives in Australia. He should move over to New Zealand and you know, learn potatoes. You know, John's got the tunnels under Manhattan, pretty much. Yeah,
like
that was from a job I was on 5 years ago. I was on that job for 5, and I really regret not taking more pictures. There was some really cool pictures down there. The homeless encampment. I should have taken pictures of the homeless encampments down there. It was just like the Morlocks from the X-Men, but those are people. You know what I mean? I don't want to take pictures of them. And
yeah, because that's their like home. People were like, if you just came and, you know, take pictures of people home, that'd be kind of weird.
You know, I don't know what else to say. You want to talk about food? You want to talk about food? I wanted to ask you this, and then they're chuds.
No.
I didn't get too close to them. You don't want to. You don't want to get talking. You don't want to get close to them. I want to ask you this about your campaign. Is it a straight up Western or is it a horror Western? Vampire?
Straight up.
Okay.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Lepresti got a badass horror Western, you know?
Yeah.
Tim Tuttle has a badass freaking vampire Western that I bought. That looks badass.
Yeah. The 3 best indie books, in my opinion, was Wraith of God. That was so good. Rock and Roll Ninja was so good, and Fiendish by I always say
Reedy.
I always say Irene.
Yeah, Fiendish is good.
But those books were really good, and you know, and every time we get those books, you know, I get a book with 6 blank pages, and I don't understand what's going on. But all I know is somebody once said that writers are a dime a dozen. So throw out a couple of dimes there, buddy, and get yourself a writer. Get yourself a writer. You know. Because you ain't one of them. The Vampire Western. Yeah, I'm so upset because I was writing a Vampire Western, and now I'm seeing that everybody else has Vampire Westerns.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's they're like, dude, I've had so much issues with this that I'm just not gonna do it. And it's probably nothing that Tom Tuttle did to this person. You know, and I'm just tired of that. Like, I know I'm gonna lose a ton of people that would have bought my comic from CG that are CG loyalists. And you know what? Hey, my hat's off to you. Thank you for even looking at the campaign. But for me to actually build my own audience, this is what it's gonna take. It's gonna be hard work.
7 Minutes Sundown does look good.
Yeah. So I would back it. I'll still back it.
Zombie
Star's coming out. You know,
what's that?
That's badass. Bronze Star 2.
Oh yeah, how can I forget Bronze Star? Bronze Star was awesome. But Pat Broderick could do one of my covers.
Yeah,
did one of my covers. Just a great guy.
Yeah.
Octopus Cowboy was terrific. Hired to write the backup story for 6 Gun Gorilla. 6 Gun Gorilla was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I love
Brian, I think he gave me a copy at the party last year, and it took me a while to read it. It was really, really good. Really good. It's funny, Brian, no disrespect, but I put off reading it because I'm like, I'm not going to like this. I'm not going to like this. I'm not going to like this. So I finally read it, and I was like, this was so good. Such a good comic.
Yeah.
Bronze Star was good title. Looks good. Bronze Star was sick. So I guess I got it all out of my system. I'm no longer. I actually felt my anger purge.
Good. Yeah. And then that's just it, man. There's which people will, man. Like I want Shane to do good, man. I want Ethan to
I
do
like
good.
Pokemon Rex. Pokemon Rex is a good book.
Yeah. I mean, just you said Pokemon Rex. That was funny. Yeah. But I, in all seriousness, I want them to do good.
I did like Captain Planet Cats. Captain Planet Cats was pretty good.
People got kids, man.
The problem with that was no. All kidding aside, I did like Starlight Cats, and I like the fact that it was made for young kids. It was a kid book, but the problem is it's you don't get that to the hands of kids at the price card. Nobody's going to buy a comic book. Although, again, as much as Shane called me names, I'm not going to lie. It came out on time. It came out like he promised it. He came out with nice pins, good art, good coloring. I enjoyed Starlight Cats. But you're not going to buy that for your kid and then wait 6, 7, or 8 months. Now, for kids comics, you got to be quick. For like Bronze Star, I don't mind waiting for Bronze Star. That was awesome. I don't mind waiting for Cyberpunk. But when you find out that the guy doesn't care, I'm done. Somebody criticized me. And then he's on 6, 7 hours a day criticizing somebody else.
Yeah.
I got criticized. It hurts. I'm not going to lie. Because you make a comic book, you pour your life into it. You know what I mean? And then somebody criticized, but then 2 days later, you're like, damn, they were right. Like I said, I got 2 bad reviews and I agreed with both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But back to the point of Starlight Cats for kids. I think there are people out there that would buy it and just save it for like Christmas or a birthday. Like, it could be that. But that's like how is there a lot of people that would do that? Or is there a lot of people that would just like, hey, I'm just going to, I think if you did a Starlight Cats coloring book, like,
excellent idea.
And got that out there.
My wife, my wife's not a comic book person, but she likes Starlight Cats,
Yeah.
It's good. You got to, but
so I can see that.
Shane, I know you hate me now because I'm a bad person, I'm a detractor, whatever, but get that, make it a cheap, affordable book, just put it in, get it in stores. You know what I mean?
Because go to Peter Samedi, get it in newsprint.
There you go.
Tell Peter, like, listen, Peter.
But Peter Samedi's been outed too. He's another one because Peter Samedi said it was a bad idea to work on this. Look at this horrible freaking cover. Look at this horrible freaking cover. I was in talks to get this artist on my book, and then I was saving up the money, and then right before I was going to pull the trigger, I saw this and I said, "Geez, I'm so glad I didn't spend the money."
Thanks.
It was awful. And now Peter Samedi's also been outed because he dared criticize. But yes, get Peter Samedi, make Starlight Cats into a newsprint, affordable. Get kids reading comic books again. Nobody has $35. Comic books are impulse. I wish you're doing the right thing. $5 for your comic book, that is awesome. Go to a con, kids could, there's nothing objectable. You got Lizard Man.
PG-13. It's like PG-13, but kids. It's not. There's no. I think it's weird because it's violent, but there's no curse words or nudity. So
I'm not lying. Ethan Van Sciver is one of the best comic book artists I've ever seen. Full stop. Awesome artist. That cover sucks.
Yeah.
2 things can be true.
I think with that one though, to be honest, it's like Andrew Tate's like. Andrew Tate doesn't know good art, or he doesn't even care for it. Like, so he's like, I just,
you're probably right. This guy ain't gonna know the difference.
This guy's gonna pay anyway, man. I can dial it. Like, if I'm gonna spend my time, I'd rather spend it on Cyberfog. So I can see the move. Like, I'm not gonna be a hater like on that. Yeah.
So
Peter Samedi is. So this is how I, as a creator. If I was a new creator, this is how I would utilize the Peter Samedi like maneuvers, right? I would do all digital. First off, you did all digital. And now you're saying you're an idiot. You're an idiot. No.
When I started my campaign, I was staunchly, I'm not gonna do digital. And then a couple of guys, I'm not going to mention names because now all of a sudden they're going to be associated with Longbox. But a couple of guys like, listen, man, I live overseas and I'd like to buy a comic. You're new, you're untested.
Exactly.
I could gamble $6, but I can't gamble $30.
Yeah,
I get it. So I made a digital edition, and now whenever somebody buys a digital edition, it's like, whoa! I don't have to put it in a box. I don't have to mail it. I don't have to
use a printed version. Yeah. But that's how I would do it, right? Because Peter Samedi had it for like $200 or something, whatever, for like 200 something. Oh no, I forgot the price breakdown for like a 20 pager, right? But I would do it digitally until a Comic-Con came up. Then I would put the order in for that Comic-Con and do it, get my tickets, get my shirts, get my own heat press my shirts and be out there. And then that's like $1,000 investment, but you're crowdfunding and you're, at least you're crowdfunding the art. So maybe whatever the art is, or the art cost is, minus the shipping, minus the printing, that could be a real good strategic move for a newcomer.
Jim O'Reilly, who is an excellent artist. I never say that other people's work sucks. Okay, yeah. I just say it's not for me. For the longest time, I didn't criticize anybody. I just only talked about comics that I like. And then when a couple of people were pressuring me, and I gave a review about Godlike. The problem with Godlike was the arrogance of John Malin. Writers are a diamond does, blah, blah, blah. They took 3 years to come out, and the book was atrocious. Just the worst freaking CG comic I've ever read. What do you want me to say? And then everybody piled on me. So I was like, oh, geez. For the group that says accept all criticism, they're getting pretty mad. So I retreated back, stayed positive. I said, Trashcast is a bad idea. It's harming crowdfunding. It's sending people away from comics. It's absolutely doing that. Anybody who's negativity is just sending people away. And it's drawing in people who aren't into comics. It's drawing people who are into drama. Right now, I got 199 people. My streams don't get 199 people, but they knew there was going to be drama.
You're welcome, John. You're welcome.
They came to see your smiling, wonderful face.
They came to see the cowboy hat, man.
Yeah, they did.
No, they came to. Honestly, they probably came for the truth because there's been a lot of lies spread. So I hope I cleared up a lot. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, his wife made him leave CG." Nah, bro. I'm just tired of it, man. I just want to make comics, man. Oh, he hates old CG. Nah, I don't. I'm thankful for all the support. Like I said, I just want to do comics. I just want to be indie. I just want to go on every show that's available to be on and talk comics. I'm not here to bash CG or even bash Ethan. Like
right now, we all agree that mainstream comics are doing. I do think that they're turning a corner. I think things are looking a little bit better, but it might be too little, too late. I don't know. Not a problem.
I also think that ComicsGate does help. I know you're saying it hurts, and it's been having some black eyes recently. It's been horrible,
right?
But it does help crowdfunders.
How?
They get them in front of big audiences, But it's the big guys that got to do it, man. The big guys that got to do it more, And they're very selective with who they do it. But then again, they kind of don't even know who they're promoting. Like Shane, I was on Pimp My Comic and recently, and he's like, "Who's this guy? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's big time in me. I don't know." But
I can't believe that. I got people on my channel, and they show up, and I'm like, "Hey, it's the first time you've been." They're like, "No, dude, I've been on 3 times."
Yeah, but it's I don't know, man. I would say this, man.
Okay, good. I was going to say
if Ethan and Shane and Malin really went out there and looked at comics that they really liked, not just, oh, come on the show, everyone comes on the show. No, actually go out there and look at comics they really like and think are really going to be special and just promote those guys, man. Like if they pick you, they pick you. I think they could do that. And man, but it's man, it's so hard though, because so like I say that, right? But if I put myself in Malin's shoes and I say, yeah, back this comic, back Embree's comic, blah, 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 right? And he does it. And then I do it still with Rob Hunter. And then it's like, fuck, man. Man, you know what I mean? So I can understand their hesitation too. Like I try to like really, but I don't know, man. I think smaller comics from newer artists going at a cheaper cost until you get to build the trust is more of a more of a thing for crowdfunding, at least for the smaller guys. And I don't know, that's just my
I mean, yeah, this whole lie that I took out I cashed in my 401k. Guys, if I cashed in my 401k to make a comic book, that comic book would be made out of solid gold, and I would have a naked lady deliver it to your house. Okay, so shut the fuck up, you assholes. Mind in other people's pockets. So, let's get, I just laugh. I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but now I'm going to spread it like it is true. Let me ask you, Richard. Let me ask 200 people watching right now. Who's hurting comic books more, Rippa or CG? You all know my answer.
Yeah.
While the frenzy and froth is building up in the chat, I'm going to give a little bit of this point. I go to work. I'm working in Manhattan. I go to a new job, and there's an old bald guy, and I start talking to comic books with my foreman. This old bald guy goes, "You like comic books?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you know anything about this book, Isom?" I said, "Oh yeah, I know Isom. Eric July's been on my channel. You have a channel? We talk. If you're watching right now, how you doing, Mark? How you doing? Good guy." And we talked about Isom. He liked it. He bought the next one. He collects Ripper comics now. He just says he heard about him on the Blaze or something like that. Now, I've never heard anybody just go like, I found this Cyberfrog book. I found this Pokemon Rex book. I just found these books, and now I really like them, and I want to, because they're nowhere. If you're not in this little swirling vortex that's going down the drain, you don't hear about these things. And then when you do, I go, "Oh wow, this robot frog looks really cool," and I do like Cyberfrog. Man, the '90s Cyberfrog was awesome. Mm-hmm. You go to get, I want to learn about Cyberfrog, and all you talk about is Ripper sucks, Ripper sucks, Ripper sucks, Ripper sucks.
I can see that.
You leave.
I can see what you're saying, because you're saying, like, Cecil made a point. He says you watch these Marvel movies, and you're like, "Oh, Captain America," and then you go and it's like, "Where's Captain America?" And it's like, "Wait, I want the guy that looks like Chris Evans." And
that's a different point. That's Marvel sabotaging themselves. I talked about that ad nauseum.
But that's kind of the same principle. It's like when they go there, But
let's say this. I'm making something up. There's the new Captain America movie. So I go into the new Captain America movie. I pay my money. I sit down, and the Captain America movie tells me how bad the Batman movie is. The Batman movie sucks. The Batman movie sucks. The Batman movie sucks. The Batman movie sucks. Am I going to the Captain America sequel?
I don't know. More. I don't know. More. Probably not.
Right. Tell me how good you want to talk about how bad that guy is. You better get your shit together. Put out your goddamn books. Make sure the book is good. Don't put 6 pages of blank art. Learn how to draw a freaking horse, and put out a book once every decade. Again, I'm a new guy. 80 pages of new stuff in 1 year. 80 new stuff, not a reprint for $35 or a preview for $35. And I'm the bad guy. That is taking advantage of your fans, and every campaign is going to go less. Every campaign is going to go less.
So to answer the question,
I know people are going to yell at me. I know I'm going to be made fun of. I'm going to be the subject of this. But you know why? Because there's nothing else exciting going on in ComicsGate.
But here's the
most
thing.
exciting thing in ComicsGate is me and you right now.
I guess. Huh?
not a new campaign that's launching tomorrow. Yeah. Me and you.
No, I think this, like, because CG is such a big thing. Because, like, okay, when you say CG, when some people say CG, they think Ethan. When some people say CG, they think the whole movement, right? When some people say CG, they think a certain thing. So CG means a lot to different people, right? So I would just say, like, yeah, that Rob Hunter, really, Jimmy Reyes did it. And, but man, but like, Grant, like, man, look at Nexus with Mike Baron, freaking killing it, bro. Right. Like, so it's,
Eric has criticized crowdfunding repeatedly, but is he wrong? Is he wrong? And can you politely and eloquently, without puppets and making fun of stupid shit, explain why he's wrong? Or better yet, can you step up your game so he has nothing to say? And then you could just shut him up with perfection. Shut him up with professionalism. Yeah. That's my next book is called Internet Guy Sucks a Cock. How's that? That's the name of my next book.
Yeah, but like it's a
real,
yes or no
brave.
question. You know,
thanks for $5. That beer is going to be for John Malin.
Yeah, you can't say like, because if you say ComicsGate, right, and Grant Nolan's ComicsGate, he's not hurting crowdfunding. You know, now Rainbow Brute, yeah, that kind of is, man. Like, you know, sad to say it is. You know, if you read the comment section on that, it's bad. It's bad. It's you know,
Rainbow Brute. I remember getting excited about Rainbow the Brute when I was telling my wife about it. I said, "This is a really good idea." This was what 2000. I forget the exact year. I don't want to mention a year because people are going to call me a liar rather than a retard, which I admit. But when it came out, it was important. They're going to take boy stuff. I mean, they're going to take girl stuff and turn it to boy stuff. Yeah. I was all on board. I threw $200 and something at the highest tier for that campaign. I thought it was great. You had Bill Willingham writing a story. Oh my God, this was awesome. The joke's over. Comedy is all about timing. The joke is over. You know, Marvel is course correcting. They're reshooting Superman because I think they know that the writing on the wall. So, you know, making a book about SJWs taking over everything and reversing us, it's a great idea, but it's like making fun of disco at this point. It's too late.
Yeah.
A topical joke needs to come out fast. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So like DG says, it's like, if you want to criticize fault, name by name, don't insult, like, you know, because here's the thing, like some people might buy, you know, Tucci and this and that, you know, and it's like they never, those guys are always, you know, delivering, and it's so like, man, that's why I'm just like, I just want to be alone so I could be responsible for me, and people can hold me accountable for my actions. I'm just, you know. And with that said, I'll still buy comic books from CG that I like.
I'm buying comics that I like.
You know,
I'm buying comics that I like, and I'm not going to purity test anybody if they come on my channel. Are you CG or you Ripper? If you want to talk comics, you know, that's fine.
Like I want to like
just turn on your camera
with Ethan and seeing that video where he's like, "You fucking nobody." I want him to sign it. You know, thanks for backing, you fucking nobody. Like I'll pay him $50 for that. That would be, you know, just I don't want him to fail. I just don't care. I just don't care to put on a label. I just, you know, even though I'm like a nobody, I don't care, man. I just want to make comics, bro.
And honestly, I gotta read the super chat. That's the etiquette. Just so anybody knows, super chats that are just insulting, I just keep the money and I buy Burger King with it. In honesty, I've seen more people talk about Ripper than Cyberfrog. Absolutely. Good or bad. They're talking about Ripper. Podawful said it the best, that CG is Ripper's biggest advertisement. You know, who cares what they're saying as long as they spell your name right, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it answers whoever fulfilled it. Yeah, right. Stop giving them fuel. You want to put out the fire? Stop giving them fuel. That is the reality of it. Oh, of course, correcting my ass. Culture died 20 years ago. I didn't mean to click on that, but okay, Galaxy Stranger. We know more about Eric's books than any other book. Absolutely. We do. That's the end result of Trashcast for a year. You know?
Yeah, we know his characters, everything.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, but
and I'm not even, again, I bought, well, I have 4 Ripper books. One was gifted to me. One I bought because Chuck Dixon is awesome. And 2 I bought because I was excited. And, oh, and his sales drops. Everybody's sales drops. Your sales drops. You know, I guarantee you the next Cyberfrog, the sales are going to drop. The next Pokemon Rex, the sales are going to drop. Do you think Mandy Summers' next comic is going to sell? No. Everybody's sales. You know whose sales aren't going to drop? Fiendish. You know what I mean? That's going to sell because it's a quality book by somebody who's super talented, you know, doesn't start trouble. Yeah, my book's probably going to drop now because people are, hey, he's in this. But you know what?
Refund.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, I can fund this book myself, but, you know, put it on for my comic, I can get it done faster. So that's where I'm at.
Fund My Comic is awesome. Not only is Fund My Comic awesome, we got a whole bunch of people who've never seen before, so I'm going to give Luke Stone a shout out, the guy who owns Fund My Comic. I messed up every possible aspect of my campaign. I called up Luke Stone screaming and yelling like a crazy person effing times. And 3 effing times, that guy, you could hear his family sitting around the dinner table. He's like, okay, John. He's got like the smoothest voice. We'll take care of this. And how's your day going? I'm like, what do you mean? How's my day going? And because John, it's fixed. He fixed it while we were talking. I'm like, I felt
Luke knows what he's doing.
Luke is a great guy. You don't get that service on Kickstarter. You don't get that service on Indiegogo. Do you get the reach? It's new. It's new. Before anybody complains, yes, I already told Luke I'm gonna do a Kickstarter for my comic book too. I made $1,000. I'm not big enough to say no to $1,000.
Yeah.
So before you call me a hypocrite, I never swore not to use Kickstarter because
damn it, I gotta edit my video right there.
Fucking person. I've never met you.
For my comic. Now, I would just want if Luke could add like a basket.
Yeah, I do have suggestions. It's not perfect. There's a couple of things that need to be fixed, and he's the first person to tell you. But this is a guy working on a shoestring budget. I don't know who his backers are. I don't know who his supporters. I don't know if he got an inheritance. I don't know if he's flying by the seat of his pants. I don't ask that. But I do know that when I effed up my payment system and I didn't know where the money was going, true story, he called up Stripe and had a 3-way with me.
You told me that, yeah.
On the phone, and he just said, John, with that cool, calm voice, John, calm down. I'm like, calm down. There's $4,000 in this freaking account that I can't access. And he calls him 3 effing hours on a Saturday with me. What did Luke make on my comic?
Yeah,
$400, $200.
You should be doing it for the love too, man.
Right.
And you make a little scratch, and that's it, man. Yeah, I agree with Luke Stone, Pete, Michael Bancroft are some of the best in this space.
Michael Bancroft is absolutely great. Absolutely great. He's doing it on his own. He's class act. I wish I was more like Michael Bancroft, but I'm a dumb construction worker who gets pissed off and fights in the subways and then comes home and fights on the internet. I'm working on it, guys. I swear to God, I don't know what happened. This Richard C. Meyer thing just came out of nowhere. I admired the hell out of the guy. He was going through a crazy phase, and I'm like, okay, he'll come back. He'll come back. And next thing you know, I'm his subject du jour because I was talking to Wes from Thinking Critical, who's an awesome guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't change. Thank you, Tech.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, at the end of the day, dude, we're all fucking just nerds, man. This like gang mentality, like blood in, blood out. It's like fucking stupid.
They left one cesspit of collectivism to join another cesspit of collectivism. It's not about individuality. It's not about,
I didn't buy a cowboy hat to promote a Western for this shit, John. All right. That's what I'm saying. A $5 Western at that.
I got to ask, how the hell do you afford to make a $5 comic?
Overprint. Keep it 20 pages. Keep it 20 pages, then it keeps the art cost down.
If you don't want to answer this is fine. But how much does it cost per issue to make, to print? I'm not talking about how much you pay your artist. That's none of my business.
It depends, man. On 20 pages, anywhere from like 3 to 5, depending who I'm working with, because here's the thing.
$3 to $5 to print your comic. I use Comics Wellspring, and it's like.
Oh no, wait. Oh, to print.
Yeah, just to print.
Mixamo.
You use Mixam?
Yeah, so that's like 20.
Is that in China or is that here?
All US based.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody told me it was in China, and I trusted them.
What's a broker?
Comics Wellspring is another people. I called them crazy, and they were like, "Calm down, John."
They're a broker, and so they have print shops all over your area. So they're gonna find the area that has a machine that has your what you need for your job, and then
Okay, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so I mean that's what I use.
You said between
Some
$3 and
people
$5.
had some problems though.
Wait a minute. The math isn't adding up. You said it costs between $3 and $5 to make it. So then you're not making any money. You're going into loss then because you got to pay for the artists and everything.
No. So like with yeah, no, it's like around like 3 to 5, like 5, yeah. But here's what the kicker is, right? We're a hobbyist. So when you do your taxes, you get $5K back. So it's like I have $5K to spend. So that's what I'm playing with.
That's pretty much what I did. I took my tax return, I put it on the side, and I funded my first comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was every year. You're gonna show you how irresponsible I am. I do something stupid with my tax returns. You know what I mean? So I took my tax returns. I made, but my point being is for my comic, I did a low print run, and it was only I want to say $287 an issue to print.
But here's what I did though too, right? And people are gonna say you're fucking stupid. You have all this, blah blah. The stupidest thing I did in comics before, was printing comics and then not having any comics to sell in between the next story. So it's like when I printed Blood and the Sword, I did like 2K. Actually, no, I think it was like
You printed 2,000. What do you got? Boxes tripping? You tripping over boxes in your house?
Not anymore, because I got a lot. Like, here's the thing: as I'm campaigning online, I can sell physically. So now I'm in 6 stores in the Phoenix area.
Oh, nice!
Because I'm not waiting on crowdfunders. I can keep the ball moving, and at $5, I print enough to where it's like. Basically, I'm giving it to the store at cost. So it's like, oh, yeah, but that's how I'm also building the audience. Because, like, who's this guy out of nowhere? I went to this store in Phoenix and I see this. And I went to this store in Phoenix and I see this. And I went to this store and, it's there. So it's like, that's how another way to build audience as well. And I know people are saying, oh, that's dumb. Listen, to build an audience costs money. It costs a lot of money. Like, we're talking about Ethan, Shane, and John, right? They have huge audiences. Why? Because they came from the mainstream. How much
they built the name over 20 years? Yeah.
So it's like, how much money did DC put into, or how much money went into DC to get it to that state for these gentlemen to work there, and for their work to be well received, and then come out to crowdfunding? That's where the numbers are. So it's like that's where the audience is. So that's another thing with. Like the or like why aren't you getting a big audience and helping us out? It's like, well, we didn't come from the mainstream. Like that's impossible. You're not gonna be able to do that. So it's like this is fixed. That's another thing. It's like, and anytime you have any kind of like hesitation or fucking wrong think with CG, it's why aren't you grabbing an oar? Or you're not even grabbing an oar. It's just, nah, dude, I'm just done. Like, that shit's a fucking headache. I just want to talk to people that want to buy my comic.
It's not grab an oar.
Yeah.
It's do what I tell you.
Yeah.
Do what I tell you. Because like I said,
well, that's fucking
who's been grabbing more oars than me? I've been hosting people for years. 3 nights
tendency, right?
My own time. And if everybody who ever came on my channel actually backed my book, I everything would be funded 3 times over. But I don't ask people to do that. I get a little disappointed every once in a while, but I'm like, yeah. And for the most part, I'm a sucker. I'm back in your book right after we're done. I never do it live because I'm always afraid.
But here's the thing with that, the whole equation. You know what oars are for? They're for fucking slaves. You never get to steer the ship. You fucking get the oar and you stick to the oar. You're not there making decisions.
Well, the Vikings weren't slaves.
But there's one person driving the boat and it ain't fucking you. That's what I'm saying.
As an analogy, it works.
With the person that's like actually steering it in the back or whatever, right? Does he go and say, hey, guy in the 3rd row, what do you think I should do? Should I go to the right? Should I go to the left? I don't know. Hold on. No, fuck you. Keep rowing. It's like, hey, man, we're going to hit a rock. Fuck you. Keep rowing. Keep rowing, fucker. You're not, you're here to roll. You're not here to steer. You're here to roll. Know your fucking role and fucking row. And that's what it is, bro. And anyone
if I made
you're living a fantasy. You're fucking living a fantasy. Like seriously.
If I made 70K on a crowdfund,
unless you're a legend, because a legend they can do whatever they're already a legend. So you're not going to tell them to do, or they're going to do what they want. And most of them are really kind and generous and already taking upon themselves to help out the younger generation.
So many people have given me free help, said nice things, and I'm not going to mention them because then my stink is gonna fly on them. But Lady Ali says something interesting here. He says, but if I made 70K on a crowdfund, I'd have the ability to make 3 books right away.
That's another thing.
Yes and no. There's a lot of factors. Am I a professional that does nothing that makes books? Because 70K is not a lot of money after printing, after shipping. Yeah. You know what I mean? I am assuming that this fictional Ali K is writing and drawing and coloring and inking and doing everything. If you're paying other people, that comes out, taxes comes out, whatever comes out. So think about it.
I think she's saying in her situation,
right, in her situation,
with a full-time job. Yes, of course.
If I made 70K on a crowdfund, I would be having a party and everybody involved would be at my house and stuff like that. But I have a real job.
Mm-hmm.
But the Kings, if they made 70K on a crowdfund, it's really only half that money. 35K is not enough to live on these days. You have to come out with something quick. $400,000 on a comic book is awesome. Mm-hmm. 5 years later, it's less than $100,000 a year. I make more than that, and I don't crowdfund. And I got medical benefits, and I got a pension, and you know what I mean. So you gotta do this. So, Lady Ali, you're right because of your circumstances, but like. And I don't want to mention names, but like the guys who are professional comic book guys, if they do 70K on a crowdfund, that's not enough to live on after all the costs come out. That's 7-Eleven money. You know what I mean? But
I think she's saying that, and her point is the pissing the money away. So it would if she's probably saying if she didn't live, if she had no job and she made like a 300K, that's like 150, right? That would be enough to, but I don't know. There's so many, man, dude, printing, even on my like lower scale, it's a lot of things that can go wrong, a lot of prep that goes into it. And so like, I can only imagine.
You know how many things I did wrong? Everything.
Yeah.
I did everything wrong. And yet and then things outside of my control happened and I still made a freaking book and it was pretty much on time. 3 weeks late
But I don't want to play armchair quarterback and being like, okay, I would have done this, because I don't really know, so I would have to, I guess know more about it or talk to people that have been in that position.
Right. And my famous talk that I had Saturday with the new Shmoo, he was saying a successful campaign is when you get the money. No, a successful campaign is when the backers get the book. Then and only then can you touch that money. You can't. So like
that's an unfair conversation though, because you're talking to Liam, and Liam.
Right. That's
Liam's a good boy. He's a good little boy. He does what he's told.
Right.
That's what
I don't know what he was thinking. I think he came off the reservation to talk to me.
He has brought him on his thing and shield for him like you got him 40K. Like of course he's gonna you're asking him unfair questions because he can't answer correctly because the fucking choke chain, like that's how it's crazy because this is how you do. That's how manipulation works. You put a person in a position of power, right? And then you say, hey, you like this position? This is great. Yeah, you like this? Okay, cool. Now I take this fucking away the minute you disagree with me. Understand? And it's like you don't really have to say it. So when he came on here, it's like that's the wrong person because he can't bite the hand that feeds him. Like you're asking the wrong person. So that's where that situation came from.
Look at this awesome art. $10, 2 complete stories, heroic tales.
Where's that link, man? I'm gonna go back right now. I get digital.
Yeah, I got a digital tier. I got it.
Right, I'm gonna do
it's
that
a
right
flip
now.
book. So I could have scammed everybody and treated everybody like pay pigs and made everybody pay for these different covers. But the way it's gonna work is it's a flip book. So one side has the matriarch.
Attacked, man. Because I got my Preston Acevedo cover that's $25, but it's a limited run
Right.
$100.
$10, you're gonna get 2 covers. By 2 colorists who literally work for Marvel and DC. Letterer who works for so many other professionals.
No, I'm playing, bro. I'm playing.
I'm trying not to mention names because now everybody's gonna catch my slip. But look at this. This is awesome. And no, it's not AI art. It's Renzo Rodriguez. He worked for he did work for Zach. He did work for Avatar Press. He's a pro. And then over here, I got 2 variant covers: Mary Sue by Josh Howard, and The Patriarch Fighting the Subterranean by Jose Garcia. And then this evolved naturally. This is Martina Marcota. She's did a cosplay in my T-shirt. I just wanted to have a beautiful woman, advertise my T-shirt. And the people you got to make a cosplay cover. And I'm sorry, Crenshaw. Crenshaw wore my Patriarch shirt on the back, but Crenshaw, you got to understand, people want to see this. This is Lady Alchemy. For those of you who don't know, look at that. She had a baby a year ago. Look at that. That is awesome.
Man, you're just totally anti, John? You want to all the wrong people out there.
Look at this cuck. Look at this cuck over here with his beautiful wife in bed. Look at that cuck. Sorry, somebody doesn't know what the word cuck is. You know what's the worst part about being cucked? But paying for the skydiving lesson. That must have been the worst part of being cucked. Paying for that skydiving lesson. Look at this beautiful wife. You know what I mean? But he's a cuck. He's a cuck. And then we got Mary. Look at this artwork. Mike Barrett read this story. He said it's awesome. It's
awesome, bro. He's a man. He's a treasure, man. He's a treasure. That's why anything Mike comes out, you need it back. Just do yourself a favor.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the whole chat, man. Back.
Oh yeah.
Like these guys are like, here's the thing. Everyone's pointing this that I'm like anti-CG. I'm not. Anything that Nolan comes out, back. The Graybeards, anything, professionals, any of those guys, back it. They're good. And even like if you like Ethan and you're willing to wait, back it. I'm not hating no one. That's why people are trying to make it. Oh, you hate.
I know Stray Beans. I'll walk this back. I'm sorry, Stray Beans. I don't know if you're trying to start trouble or not, or if you're just being honest. But I agree with you. But I'm biased because Renzo Rodriguez. If John Byrne's art style had non-cuck love with George Perez's art style, you'd make Renzo Rodriguez, and he's getting better. You guys got to see the new stuff that he's drawing. What happens when Timmy falls down? Well, back heroic tales, and it's not Timmy, it's Martin Lipke. Is the little boy who falls down. Why? Because he's a partner. Or if anybody has a name in my comic book, they're guys that I work with, and if I like them, nothing bad happens. If I don't like them, bad stuff happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this comment means. I don't know if he's busting my chops.
Don't do it. Don't read it.
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Loaded. Don't read it.
Image had the same gimmick with Ballistic. Yeah, I've seen it before, but I got the idea from Tim Seeley. He does a comic called Local Man, and the front cover is his regular style set now, and then the back is set in the 90s, and it has like Rob Liefeld, and it's 2 stories simultaneously. And I was like, I want to make these 4 covers, but I feel bad like asking people to pay more money. You know what I mean? So I and a couple of people reprimanded me, dude. You could get $40 a backer. I'm like, yeah, but that's kind of scummy. Mm-hmm. It's all about the comics with this guy. No drama. Oh my God, excuse me. Sorry.
I'm trying to get there. I kind of took a little shot at Liam, but he's the one that started this. So hey,
Martina. Martina is. Yeah. I met Martina at a party years ago, and there was only 2 women that were so beautiful in person. I actually got I turned into Jerry Lewis. Her and Joanna Constantine. I think I'm going to say her name wrong. Joanna something, but she was another model from New York City. It was funny because they were polar opposites. One was this tall, beautiful blonde, and the other one was this tall, beautiful brunette. They were just. I couldn't talk to him. John is holding back. He ain't done with the BS. Nah. Do you ever see that Jerry Seinfeld episode when they told him to be emotional, and then he started crying, and he's like, I can't turn it off. Well, your boy Zach pissed me off, and it's taken a while. This is how I used to be for 50 years. This is how I was. And then one day I said, you know what? Everything's good. You're ready to be now, Jerry.
You're gonna be all right, man.
Yeah, I'm good. You know, I love the power set for the patriarch, but he was turned off because Renzo liked. Oh, renowned Zero. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's a good. Yeah. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I wish you would like it. It's made with love. It's definitely an homage to Superman, but you have to make it different than Superman. Matter of fact, Pete hates when I say this, but I pitched it to Alternative, but he was like, it's too much like Superman. And I'm like, you didn't even read it yet. You're just looking at the pictures. But
I get what he's saying, though, because if that's what he's seen first glance,
right.
That's what the customer is going to see first glance. So that's
where. You know what? And somebody's Sleepy Time term has put up a picture of the Samaritan from Astro City. It's a ripoff of this. Well, isn't the Samaritan a ripoff of Superman? Isn't Captain Marvel a ripoff of Superman?
Everything.
Isn't your book be Sleepy Time term? Isn't it a ripoff of Gargoyles? I mean, come on. Yeah, when I talk about Mike, make sure when Mr. Barron calls you up,
yeah,
you could call him Mike.
No. I call him Mr. Barron. No, yeah. I still call him Mike in DMs. But my respect for him would be Mr. Barron.
It's all good. Stray Beans is a troublemaker. That's fine.
Stray Beans is cool, man.
I won't back the CG Kings, but I will everybody else. I mean, if you're not backing Aaron Wolfresky, if you're not backing Graham Nolan, if you're not backing guys like that, Art T. Bear, and you like comic books and you're not backing these guys, then you're doing yourself a disservice. I've been talking shit all night, but I will say Glorious Rex I actually liked. I know other people didn't like it. That's what pissed me off was I said nothing but good things about Shane Davis. And I criticized crowdfunding, so now he's talking shit about me, but I said nothing. Mandy came on my channel. People told me, people that I never even met were in my DMs telling me, this person, this. I didn't know her from a hole in the wall. I just know, hey, she's a comic book person. She came on my channel. Go watch that video. It's actually my highest watched video on my channel. She was awesome. She was awesome.
Mandy?
Talk Dungeons and Dragons. She knew her shit.
Mandy's cool.
I was telling people, back off, leave Mandy alone. I don't know if this is true. And now she's talking shit about me when I did nothing.
I should say this. Mandy's always been cool and really supportive of me.
Right.
So, but here's the thing. I'm trying to really use I statements because someone could have a bad interaction with someone, and I'm like, yeah, that person's cool. And I'm not trying to invalidate anything interaction that other people had. I'm just trying to be responsible for my stuff. So
B.A. Turner, you know a lot about me, huh? I've been married for 22 years, you fool.
Maybe that's why you're mad, John.
My wife is awesome. While we were talking, she gave me some McDonald's.
What?
While we were talking, she walked by and gave me some McDonald's.
Hey.
Tell me you haven't watched one of John's streams without telling me. I don't know who that comment is, but okay. Georgina Floyd, we have I don't know what that is, but I think I'm going to get off that really, really quick. Serenity Now. Batmerk, I just scooped the Rogue Tales catch up to you. Thank you. Oh, you backed? Yeah, people backed. Yeah.
Yo,
and I just want to say this guy, he's in my chats. He wants to talk to me about time travel. I said, okay, that's cool. That's interesting. I was like, I'll have this guy on my channel. We'll talk about time travel. I said, DM me. He DMs me. I go to bed at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
I was in my bed and he's like, oh, you messaged me and you made me wait. Now he hates me. I'm sorry, but I'm not your bitch there, Captain Finity. You're a freak. Okay. You know what?
Dang.
I'm going to say something. I'm going to support Ethan Van Sciver right now. I kind of understand. So these people that want to be in your DMs, and the moment you don't give them the attention they want, they start turning into a freak. Totally understand that now. This is the guy who taught me a lesson. Thank you, Ethan Van Sciver. I'll walk back some of my comments on you because this lunatic taught me about it. These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Mm.
Or as John called them, Dylan Stroll, you're real clever. Your book's going to suck. Okay.
I thought you were being nice now, John. What happened, man?
Serenity Now.
I think you need to eat that McDonald's, man.
You're probably right.
Yeah, your wife is like, you're getting hungry. I can hear your fucking stream. Here's some burgers.
I'm not going to say don't back anybody. But Shane Davis's books were good. I like them. Crowdfunding is a little too expensive, but it's not for kids. Starlight Cats should have been cheap. I think it would have been more successful because people would have bought it for their kids. But I like it. He's a professional. I don't like him anymore because the guy just took his marching orders and started insulting me. What are you supposed to do? Go fuck yourself, Shane Davis. But your book is good, and I'm not going to slam it. At least it's readable. Fake tough guys are always going to act tough. I don't know if that's directed at me, but whatever. Fawning over another woman like that. It was back in my Signal days, you douchebag.
You would be a good dude.
That was a little too far. That's a little too far. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Yep.
He is a good dude.
Now we know John has arrived. He lives in New York and can afford McDonald's.
I should say, BA's been very supportive and cool to me. I like BA.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm trying to use I statements. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say, so I'm just, BA has been nothing but supportive and kind to me. So I just leave it like that.
Oh, Captain Finity struck my channels 4 times. Yeah, he's a lunatic.
Oh,
you know what? I'm doing something for the first time I've ever. I didn't know I could do it.
You have the power now.
I didn't know I could do it. I didn't know.
You have the power now.
You know what? Here's something funny. I got to go fix this now before it backfires. Mandy's a moderator on my channel. But I talk bad about her. And yet all of these like John Malin who release their DMs. All I got to say is if you're an alpha man and somebody tells you something in secret and then you turn around and tell everybody, guess what this guy told? All the other guys are like, dude, that's not how alpha males behave. All of these people who are quick to release DMs, not one of them released a DM of me talking bad about them. So I don't know. Yeah. This is like 2 times we said we were done talking, and then I got.
It's gonna turn to Liam with like 3 more hours,
Yeah.
But I just want to say, all the people that are crying, oh, I miss my brother, just shut the fuck up. Just go promote more books. Shut the fuck up. A lot of you motherfuckers were never my friends anyway. Shut the fuck up. And go make books and be happy. All right? Because I'm gonna go make books and be happy. And then, that's it. Cool.
Yeah. I just want to say all of you Clipper people who don't have any talent and all you EFAP people who don't have any talent and you steal other people's content and you comment on it and you get super chats and that's how you make your living and you're proud of yourselves. You're all a bunch of leeches, remoras. You offer nothing. You pretend that you offer commentary. Meanwhile, it's just like a mugshot of a face. I challenge you to make your own book, make your own comic book, make your own content without EFAPing people for a week.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Just save it. Just save it, man. Just save it. Go out, have fun, still promote. Do whatever you guys do. I don't care. I'm gonna go out and still be just go on different channels. Look at Lord Raptor Jesus here. I can't wait to go on his channel.
Yeah,
there's backers that have backed me on his channel that are not going to watch Katie, and I feel like that kind of made me feel shitty because I should be able to go anywhere and talk to anyone without any repercussions or little looks, and
it's funny because people
without having to answer for shit that I didn't do. So I'm looking forward to that.
About Pan. People are scared of Pan. They wake up in the middle. I don't know who Pan is. I don't know what he did. I'm kind of curious.
If
anybody can give me the Pan story in a nutshell, let me know. I don't know anything about. Oh man, this McDonald's is killing me.
Like I'm willing to talk to Pan, And here's the thing with Raptor. Like I know he does the drama farming too, and this and that. But if I say, hey Raptor, I want to come on. I don't really want to do drama. I just want to sell books. You know what he's going to say? Hey, let's sell books. Let's do it, man. He's going to talk his shit, whatever, and that's his business. But he's not going to drag me into that. That's what we're going to do.
If Pan DMs me and wants to come on my channel, I booked for a month. All of a sudden, everybody jumped out of their chairs and wants to be on my channel. Speaking of which, in 3 weeks, Captain Cummings coming on my channel. We talked to some old school.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
He ain't coming to we like butt heads. I don't know why he thought he needed. See, that's the thing too. A lot of these guys would take a shot at me because like, oh, he's new CG or he's CG or this and that, and they want to take a shot at me, and now I'm just like responding, and now me and him had a little tuffle, and now I gotta talk some shit, and he gotta talk some shit, and like that shit could have been avoided if I just was just independent, just selling comics and just being cool.
Oh, here's Pan. Is this? Are you the Pan everybody's talking about?
Yeah, that's Pan.
Okay. No offense, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. You know.
I do recall seeing that Chewbacca avatar before. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Right. It sounds like we're winding down.
I know you want to eat, so thank you, John, for letting me come on.
You go ahead and give us a pitch on your comic before you go.
Just Devil from Talonflats. If you like revenge, you like violence, and you want just a straightforward Western, this is going to be a 3-issue limited series. All issues are going to be 20 pages. And man, it's just about a rancher. They got his just basically got his family murdered, man. And he, with his last breaths, he comes back to life, and he doesn't have much time left, and he's just gonna just kill everyone that he can before he passes. And you're gonna like it, man. It's gonna be cool, and the ending I have for it. You're gonna love it.
It's a 3-issue series.
Yes, sir.
So $15 for a complete story.
Yeah.
See,
I don't see. I mean, that's $15. Oh, is the link? Let me put the link in the chat. Or can you do that, John?
Oh yeah, put it in the private chat, and then you have to put it in because
I got you.
But you're right. Yes, thank you, Summer Swain Winter Raven. Thank you. Yeah.
That's Swan. She's cool, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
People,
yeah,
man.
that's pretty cool. Thank you. Save me from my own retardation. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing, man. Just a $5 comic, and anyone that wants to buy my comics, they're available. You want to buy the digital? Like, man, I don't want. Man, shipping's crazy. Just I'll read it. Put it on the iPad. $5. Here you go. I'm grateful. If you let me see this. It goes all the way to digital bundle. You want to get all 3 copies of Talonflats and the previous Blood and the Sword. You can get that for $15. Again, 60 pages of comic books. Physical bundle, retail bundle. If you're a retail store, you can get 12 copies for only $20. Again, we got the Preston Acevedo cover, which is this. That's just limited to 100 pages. Whoa, that's a lot. 100 print, and we only have 67 left. So I'm planning on getting just giving 5 to him, 5 to me, and the rest are for sale. And it doesn't fund on here or whatever. If they don't sell out on here, I'll just put them on the website. But if you want to get a comic book and a t-shirt, you can get it for $30. And this is the premiere one. We only got 3 left. This is Join the Posse. So if you want to put someone's image or your own image or whatever, I got some. If you want yourself or maybe dad, uncle, whatever, if you want them in this posse, we'll put their likeness to be one of the bad guys that ultimately might get murdered, or actually probably will. I'm not. I don't want to be spoilers, but yeah, this character's probably gonna get murdered. But yeah, so that's what we have going on. Again, I thank you for coming or for letting me come on. I thank you for coming now. I just fucked this up. Huh? But yeah, man, thank you for letting me be on and now, talk. Just clear the air because
clear the air, and I know it's going to sound funny after all of this, but everybody, again, I used to be Mr. Angry Guy. I calmed down. I've been calm for 7 years. I have outbursts every once in a while. This your boy Zach got to me more than I thought it was going to get to me because, like, who the hell am I? I'm nobody. And then I just said, crowdfunders need to police crowdfunding because, especially, not me. I don't care. Crowdfunding could go away tomorrow. I'm fine. But if your livelihood depends on this, the CG model is you depend on this. You need to step up your game, and you got to stop the bad actors. If the bad actors are your friends, you need to, in private. I'm not saying go on streams and talk shit about people. I'd never said that. I'm saying hey, Richard, you kind of messing up, and you messing up means that my kids aren't going to get food. You know, my kids aren't going to eat. You got to do things like that.
Yeah.
And that's what friends do. That's what alpha males do. You want to be an alpha male? Tell your friend that they're messing up. Hey, buddy, you're hurting my business. I didn't say anything wrong. I got called every name in the book. I got retards coming out of nowhere streaming about me. They don't even know the facts. They don't even know what I said. They were told to say stuff about me. And now their model is failing. Go.
Yeah.
Fine. You want me to be the bad guy? I'll be the bad guy. But clean up your act. Don't. Yeah. If you don't like Eric July and he's attacking crowdfunders, you know what people don't attack? A success.
Yeah. Well, this is actually, they said Narwhal is the model people should follow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Narwhal left, and now he's got a comic book that's already got a movie deal. Yeah, Dale Keown talk to Narwhal. Dale Keown. These people are keeping you isolated and broke. Okay? You talk to Narwhal, he'll talk to Mark Miller. You work with Mark Miller, you could buy a whole stable of Mandy Summers. Okay? Get on it, Dale. Get on it. Yeah, his name is Purple. He's evolved beyond Narwhal.
That's out of pocket. Yeah, Mark Miller's he's the most important. I said he's the most important man in indie comics right now.
Right.
If you think about it.
I love
like when I see him with Graham Nolan, I'm like, dang, that's awesome. Because that means something amazing is coming for Graham. Well, and I'm for it, man. I'm here. I'm happy. You know, so that's
I didn't think of that. Mark Miller's been chubby with Graham. I wonder if they have a project together.
Yeah, he's in the radar.
Hojo has the comic The Mythicals. This guy hustles.
Yeah, Hojo's
got a quality comic. It's fun. I remember the characters' names. You know, it's a good comic. Hojo, you're doing a good job. But I can't be friends with Hojo because he doesn't like Cool Ranch Doritos. But he does like the Doors. So
you better stop, man. Hojo's a class act, man. I don't know how
Hojo knows I'm busting his chops. Hojo knows. And Tim Olson, you're always welcome to come back. Here's my old man brain. You do the Melvin comic, right? Tim, you do the Melvin?
He does Melvin.
Dale doesn't want to work? Okay. That's none of my business then.
Yeah. Yeah, but fun time. I want you to eat your McDonald's, and thank you for having me on. And I look forward to just moving forward, man. And that's it, man. Thank you guys. If you back it, I appreciate it at any level. And yeah.
So is this what you expected when you came on my channel? Did you think it was gonna be a nice, calm, me and you just talking? Did you?
Usually you're meaner, but no.
You thought I was gonna be meaner?
No, dude. Like it's funny because people are making this. It's just silly. Like it's silly, bro. Like people are making this out to be
it's literally my bedtime now. I go to bed at 9:30.
Yeah, people are just making this out to be a big deal. You know, like my marriage isn't in shambles. Yeah, it was a miscommunication. Yes, I should have told Mint sooner. But it's just hard. Like I'm saying, it's telling someone where they can go or like me. I just like, okay, I'll just fade out this way and it shouldn't be any interaction. And then
Hojo,
what's the interaction?
I'm gonna have you on my channel. We're not gonna talk. I'm gonna eat a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, and you're gonna eat regular Doritos. And we're just gonna eat as many bags as we can until we puke. And buy Mythicals. It's an absolutely the fact that Mythicals isn't a mainstream comic book is mainstream comic books loss. It's a good comic. 2 thumbs up. Thank you. He is the Lizard King, and therefore, by definition, he can do anything. John Mallon, now on private stream, said Mark Will is just blowing smoke. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's wrong.
See, that's risky. Now you get that. It's just bad business. Yeah.
Eric the Grop. So tomorrow night, tomorrow night I'm doing It's Clobbering Time, where it's all the drama is in-house, where we talk about who would win, Batman versus Spider-Man, things like that. Tomorrow I'm having Raiden Radio. He has that comic that I'm gonna mispronounce, Eudomania. That's at 7:00, 8:30.
Cool,
it's Clobbering Time, and we're gonna talk about the greatest fictional weapon of all time. Sunday, I do Sunday Comics 10 a.m. It's going to be me talking about it's just me by myself with an X-Men comic. I'm going to do the John. I'm leading up to the John Byrne X-Men until I can think of something else.
Nice.
That's Clobber Time. The only time Eric and I agree. Yeah, nobody. There's no. Well, it is drama because the Spider-Man fans and the Batman fans get pretty heated, and I await.
As they should, man. As they should.
I can't wait to wake up tomorrow and see all the lies, misrepresentations, and if you're going to talk about me, don't lie. There's plenty of bad things. There's plenty of bad things that are true. Guys, if you only knew. Cool Ranch Doritos is the best Doritos. And I could just see steam just came out of Hojo's stove. You missed it. My first live stream, I had to eat a bag of Ranch Doritos for a backer. I'm a man of the. Oh, there you go. You got to work.
And it was work.
Okay. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. All right. I think I'm officially done.
You need to practice on closing out the stream, like having a catchphrase or something.
KSS. It's actually kind of funny. You're getting me to want to change, but it's Martin Lipke. It's the little. He doesn't fall down the well. A sinkhole opens, and everybody thinks he falls down the well. Patriarch discovers it was abducted by the subterranean. And it was inspired by me working in the tunnels of Manhattan,
That's cool.
Can we have a moderator? Can we ban Torchbearer Studio? Mountain Dew is the worst. It always comes back to food with you, Richard.
Yeah.
What are you a Coke guy or are you a Pepsi guy?
Coke.
Yeah.
I like both, but I prefer Coke. It depends. All right. So if it's snacks or something, I like Coke. But if it's like Mexican food or pizza, Coke, or I mean it's opposite. Like pizza, Mexican refer to pizza, it's Coke.
Oh, what geeks do? If you make me an outro video, that would be awesome. He also made the intro video. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
RC Cola. I got a fan Matt Burke also.
And shout out to Matt Burke, man. He did a card for Blood and the Sword. It was awesome, man. Awesome.
I'm sorry, who did Matt Burke?
Yeah. It's a play on words. His real name is Matt Burke.
Okay. Sledhead's a 60-page hard graphic art by Krista Rossi's art is awesome. Being published. There you go. Good to go see. Wasn't this ending? I'm confused. Where's Timmy? Timmy, back her old tails to find out what happens to Timmy. I tell you what, stretch goal. If we hit $10,000, I change his name to Timmy. Okay? Poor Martin Lipke gets changed to Timmy if we hit $10,000. I'm a man of the people. I'm running out of stuff to say. All
right.
Timmy. And the hordes of the underworld. All right.
Have a good night,
everybody. Back Talon Flash. I'm going to back it as soon as the stream ends.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm impressed that you're making $5 comic books and you're not broke.
I just make enough to
and
make
Shane Davis. I'm not broke either. Okay.
Leave Shane alone already.
Well, yeah, you call yourself a man and you start a rumor and start talking about it. That's not what men do. If any of these guys talk like that on a construction site, they'd be hit in the face with a piece of EMT. But no, they're anonymous. Fakes away through a screen, so they start spreading rumors and lies. Yeah. I don't care about Shane Davis's finances. I thought he was doing fine. I thought we were cool until I said crowdfunding CG is hurting crowdfunding. And again, nobody said I was wrong. Crystal Pepsi. Okay, I gotta go.
Yeah, we got
bye, everybody. Crystal Pepsi. Hojo.
Just hit X.
Could somebody super chat $5 so I could buy Hojo a Bud Light? Bye.